Hello, everybody. Glad to be here with you guys. Please smash that like if you haven't done so already. We're going to get into a few things after we welcome, of course, a few you guys. Basically, we're going to start off with the weekly update because I wasn't here with you guys yesterday. Going to give you a heads up on what's going on, basically. You know, there's a lot of fear. You're looking at the Fear and Greed Index. We have lost 20 points off of that, scale, if you will, right? To the left side. And of course, going from the point of being neutral, right, to fear is the next step, extreme fear. Where some of those people who were saying 12K, were they BTC, were they right? Right? Some people are saying, yeah, absolutely, Max. You were the one that was wrong, and they are right. Could be the case. We'll get into all of that. I'm sure you guys wondering about that. Once we're done with that, the next thing that's on the agenda is some Jasmine. Believe it or not, you guys are getting tired of hearing some Jasmine, but I want to give a shout out to Simon Greco. He may very well be watching us tonight. And it's something that he brought to my attention a little while ago in regards to a key player for Jasmine, who is partnered up directly with Kaza Masasato. You want to check that out. Why do you want to check this out? I think Max is just trying to keep us, in tune in regards to Jasmine. You just got to come up with something. Well, not exactly that. The reason why you want to pay attention to that is because the plug into what? The United States of America. Who doesn't sound bullish on that? Definitely stay tuned for that. All right. After that, some big news in regards to Ripple's XRP. And if anything, it should instill that confidence that you may have, seen diminish for whatever reason. Sometimes when there's fear in the market, people just, they dismiss the research. Let's have a reminder, but not just a reminder, understanding the pathway forward. Some new news was dropped literally on the official Ripple earlier today, like a couple hours before the show. Last but not least, big Sorbonne update. Maybe the biggest one ever. Smash that like. Let's go ahead and get into the show here in a bit after we welcome a few of you guys. Turn the banners back on. And let's start off with the first comment of the day. And it basically comes from who? It comes from Mr. OG Crypto. Mr. Gangsta. Thanks for being back, Mr. OG. He says, hey, everybody. Glad to have you, man. Please smash that like, everybody. We are currently at 20 likes. When there's a lot of fear in the market and so on, there's fear of people just even showing up to crypto shows, watching the content, you name it. Let's try to get the broadcast out to a broader base. We're not a sponsored channel, but nonetheless, it does help. Kicks in the YouTube algorithm. All right, let's also welcome Brittany, who says happy Tuesday. Thank you very, very much, Brittany, for your steady attendance here at CTN. We always appreciate you, Brittany. All right, going through a little bit more comments. See that we got a pretty decent turnout with all the fear. Maybe we'll tick up into the 40s. Let's welcome the one and only Mr. Boomer F. Sooner. Yes, that's right. I was told that some of you guys watched the last Jasmine Q&T video, right? You guys, of course, got it first on the live. Everybody else got it a little bit later due to my schedule and so on. But I was informed that for some of the people that were watching it early in the morning to start off their coffee or whatever, woke up their household because, they heard the part where I was getting really into it and so on. They're like, they had to turn that down. But yes, everybody has to wake up to a cup of Boomer F it sooner. Thank you for being here, Mr. Boomer. Ahmed's back in the house. Always good to see you, Ahmed. What's up with the plain avatar, Ahmed? We went to, the whole thing of, you voted. That little kid with the cookie. We want a cookie. To the other one you had, which was you. And now there's nothing. What's up with that? All right. If you want nothing, that's all right. Everybody knows Ahmed. Glad to have you here, Ahmed. All right. Look at that. Old familiar face. Actually, old familiar name with two new faces. Well, let's see what we have here. He went from a divorced person to are these the new honeys? Are they flipping us off? Is that what's going on? Well, whatever the case, are those your two new honeys? Glad to have you here, Mr. Badir. Mr. Crypto Winter is in the house. Glad to have you, man. All right. Saw a whole new wave of new comments come in. Tim Shea says, hey, Crypto Commissioner, thank you so much for being here. Mr. Tim Shea, Mayor Crypto Commissioner, representing the 589th District of XRP Army. Thank you, sir. Where's your stepbrother? All right. Ahmed said, YouTube closed his old account. Any idea how I get it back? Why would they do that? All the censorship, and people wonder why, people jumped the gun to Rumble, right? Humpty says, all I got to say is NVIDIA. Or you mean NVIDIA? I don't know. Do you have stock in NVIDIA? That wouldn't have been a bad choice. That wouldn't have been a bad choice at all. All right, let's also welcome Mr. Dingy. And as I would say, Mr. Dingy. Hello, welcome back. All right, what's this? I think I lost connection. Oh boy. I think I lost connection completely. Oh man. I think they're working on the connection over here. Hold on. All right, maybe it's back. Hold on, let me see. Because they're working on some stuff. Well, it seems like it's back. Maybe it's not back. Bad connection. Yeah. It's annoying. These guys have been doing it every now and then the last couple weeks. All right, we'll try to grind through it. Let me check how I'm doing on the other screen because I can always check on the other screen if it looks really bad. Hopefully it sorts itself out and hopefully it doesn't get worse. So I apologize. I'm going to welcome a few more of you guys. Tomorrow in Devia turns their earnings report at closing. If the miss, we are going to down. What? We're going down. If they hit the target, let's roll, boys. Okay. Well, thank you. All right. L. Wright Sr. Good evening, Max. Good evening, everybody. Let me see if my connection is good now. I think it's starting to sort itself out, so that's good. All right. Apologize. Again, the local ISP, literally, when that guy parks his little van, starts messing with that thing, I just shake my head and I'm like, oh, no. You always pick the right time to do it. Why can't they do it like 2 o'clock in the morning or something, right? I don't know. One of those things. And knowing that, it's Phoenix. Why would you want to do it in the hot sun? Anyway. All right. Badir says, why would NVIDIA be different and show their earnings report at closing and flux in the market? Yeah, we're going to talk about the market here in a bit. All right, let's go further down. But yeah, L. Wright Sr., sorry, welcome. Glad to have you. Corey B-Bay's in the house. Good evening, everyone. Hope you all had a great weekend. We're going to welcome a few more of you guys. River's in the house. River, always good to see you, man. Boom. There you go. Rick Cogswell is back. He says, hi, all. And that's it from Rick. You know what I mean? He does his one classic greeting. Hi, all. Boom. He's here to listen. But that's okay. Glad to have you here, Mr. Rick Cogswell. All right. Let's also further go down. Read another one from Humpty because we don't see Humpty all the time. So this is how Bricks and sends XRP and was valid. You can use XRP ledger escrows as smart contracts that release XRP after a certain time has passed or after a cryptographic condition has been fulfilled. Wait until you guys get to the Ripple segment of the day. I think you're going to like it. I'm being honest. We got a couple of really good visuals for you guys. You're going to like it. So Ripple XRP is your thing. You're going to like what we have to present because it's not old, right? You got to have some of that new stuff, especially as of lately. All right, Crypto Oracle, welcome back. He says, sup, guys? Glad to have you back, Mr. Crypto Oracle. Mr. Lambo's Crypto Talks is in the house. He says he thought Bricks weren't going to use XRP. And there's a lot of mixed reaction on who is, who isn't. I think they are, and the reason for that is, I'll give a shout out to Crypto Hulk. He talked about that, right? Many years ago. There was a site that literally references, it says Ripple, was it Ripple RU, right? So, I mean, they're definitely going to use that. All right, let's go further down. XXI Gaming, what's good, everybody? Thanks for your support, your ongoing support, XXI. I really appreciate you, man. All right. Going to read a few more. Bobby Loretti, welcome. Yes. Thank you, Ahmed. Who else we got up now? Mr. Magic Power, or as I would say, Mr. In the House. He says, hello, guten Tag, the Liechtenstein Exchange. Just me of the Rice Crop Consortium. Oi, in the house. I had to throw that in there. Selmo Fudd, welcome back, man. Glad to have you back, Mr. Selmo. Here's a dab. All right, just a couple more people we're going to welcome. Follow me. I'll be damned. I always see you in the recorded, but not necessarily in the live. So that is a real pleasure to see you. Follow me. Guys, let's get a warm welcome to a longtime supporter, especially on the recorded videos, Mr. Follow Me. All right. Patrick Collier is also in the house. Glad to have you here, Patrick. Always appreciate your ongoing support. All right, so you know what we're going to do? We're going to get into the outline because some of you guys obviously have been waiting. Let's see how we're doing on the other screen. I think we're good. Anonymous Crypto. Ghost is back, aka Mr. John Francis. I would say Mr. Gangsta, but that wouldn't make no sense, right? That's reserved for OG Crypto. Brian Riley is also here, and they have a chance to welcome you. Jack W, let's get this party started. And Mike says, checking in, Max and all, buying quant. Well, thank you very much for that. If there's anybody I skipped, it wasn't on purpose, and nonetheless, glad to have you guys here. I think I just got, into almost all you guys. Incurable Optimist as well, welcome. All right, we're going to give you something that we have been doing, I don't know, maybe for the last few months, right? Usually starts on the Monday, unless I'm not here with you guys. And that is, the last week review, but especially what happened maybe over the weekend. Break it down, because there's a lot of fear. Bring you some actual data, some charts. Not just say, oh, yeah, I'm on the rest of the bandwagon. Bitcoin going to drop to 12K. Well, it could, right? Well, we're going to jump into what we have in regards to the weekly update, the boom cycle that has been put on hold. Let's go ahead and share that. Please smash that like. We are currently at 32 likes with 47 people watching. Again, guys, unless you're driving down the road, please smash the like. We are not a sponsored channel by any means. I will not shill you some garbage. And that's all we ask, all right, is to please do that. All right. Always appreciate you guys. Let's show you guys what I'm talking about. Here's the weekly update. And this time around, there is some extreme fear, is there not? So look, basically speaking, before we actually jump into this, I want to show you guys some of this stuff. Because on the fear and greed index, as you can see, we have dropped literally 20 points on this. And it's on the right side of your screen. 34. If it gets much worse, it'll be extreme fear. Now, for some people, they think this blessing in disguise. For other people who are just like, I don't know, man, I can't handle all these storms, Max. It's like going from tropical, crypto storms to category 4 hurricanes in this whole thing, man. I just can't handle it anymore. I put up all the, I boarded up my crypto house and I gave self-custody and all that stuff. And now I hear all this talk about, all these things coming after me and so on, right? I get where you're coming from. But we're down to 1.05 trillion. Okay. BTC lost critical support. Remember we talked about 28.5 was critical? We're well below that. So does this really mean, Max, you gave in to the 12K BTC? Well, as the saying goes, pump the brakes on that one, right? But anyway, ETH also down 1630. And for some newcomers, they look at Jasmine and some of these other cryptocurrencies and they say to themselves, oh my God, I don't understand why this is pumping. There's a lot of great news. Even Max gave some good news. Why is that down? Again, understand we're not in a utility run yet, not even close to it. So if BTC and Ethereum still, and I know some guys get tired of me saying this, represent 81% of the overall crypto market, that's going to affect a big whopper of a Lulu, no pun intended to crypto Lulu, of what's going on with these alts, right? So, even XRP, talking about buying opportunities, if you lost, I should say lost, but if you missed the boat on XRP last time around, a lot of you guys missed out on 32 cents. I didn't, right? I loaded up big time when it was 32 cents. Still up in the profits. I'm not complaining. But nonetheless, at the 50, 52 cent mark, not bad. There's a lot of great opportunities right now. Remember, make sure you take a look at your portfolio manager. Could be CMC, could be anything, right? Could be Merlin, right? Shout out to the guys over at 3C Warriors Academy. Where the case be, know what you have and the reason why you have it. And check out the sales on what you don't. That's why you have a watch list, right? All right. Let's just jump into it. I was going to show you guys my watch list, but in reality, let's just get into the weekly update. Now, in this update, you want to pay attention to this. I'm not specifically mentioning, Quant, Jasmine, all this stuff, Ripple's XRP, Stellar. We'll get into all that stuff here in a bit, but we need to figure out what the hell happened, right? So crypto's crashed this past week, of course. No kidding, right? BTC basically shedding 10%. And let me be honest, right? We shed 3%, 5% BTC. That's a big freaking deal, is it not? So here it is. Crypto's crashed this past week. Even BNB, right? ETH, each losing about 9% or 9% as well. Variety of other altcoins dropping as much as 20%, right? There's a lot of things that needs to be mentioned, right? So it goes on to mention that there's spiking treasury yields. There's also apparently a strengthening dollar. So it's like a yo-yo effect, right? We see, for instance, the dollar weakening. We should see the overall market blossoming. If we see a strengthening dollar, that means crypto is going to crash. I get where you're coming from. What about this? SpaceX dumping all of its BTC holdings. Why would they do that now? Why not just wait? Well, maybe they have to free up some capital. You got to keep in mind the X platform, right? Formerly Twitter. You got to keep in mind that almost went bankrupt. So if anything, might be desperate times over there for, Mr. Elon Musk. All right, not a good week for cryptos, but great week for those who are trying to accumulate, right? Count your blessings, At the end of the day, we're going to be looking back at these times, in my opinion, saying to ourselves, for all that complain during the extreme fear and the accumulation phase, if you got extra chances to accumulate, man, when this stuff is really, really blasting off, there's always going to be a few of us who are going to say, you know what, I didn't hit my goals for this particular asset. I hit the ones for this one, but not for all these. Now check this out. For the first time in 2023, we are turning cautions, not bearish, but cautious. It's cautious earlier, or cautions. I meant cautious. As we know, we called the 2023 crypto surge as part of our bigger call for a crypto boom cycle, a fourth one, I should say, to start 2023 and extend into 2025. We remain confident in that call. We still think cryptos are in the fourth boom cycle. Hear me out on this. Our short-term fundamental and technical factors underlying the crypto markets have turned decidedly negative. Now, you have seen things go negative. For some of you guys, right, even Mike Corwell and so on, you tune in a little bit later and you're like, what the hell happened? Did I miss something? Well, some of us miss some of us. Not everybody can watch from beginning to end, and we get that. But, there's factors that are telling us that while the crypto boom cycle may very well be alive, cryptos are going to remain weak for the foreseeable future, like for another few weeks or even a few months. Now, I can handle a few weeks. I could handle a few months. That gives me, in my opinion, my last chances. Okay. And I think I've been pretty consistent. And even this source here has been pretty consistent when it comes to there should be some big things happening at the end of 2023. There's money to be made at the end of 2023, right? But the big money obviously is 2024 and especially 2025. And that's just my opinion. It's not financial advice, but if anything, I try to give you the data to support those claims, those opinions. The biggest of these technical factors revolves around, of course, BTC's 200-day moving average. Shout out to Badir, aka Crypto Winner, Hump Not Dump. He pays very close attention to it. How do we know that? He's been watching a show for over a year and a half or so. He would always talk about what's going on with BTC. Some of you guys always pay attention to it. And even if you're not personally invested in BTC, we always try to figure out what the hell's going on with it because it is a deciding factor for the overall scheme of things. Okay. Especially also Ethereum. Again, you don't even have to be involved in, invested in that, but you have a broader understanding that these things represent, again, 81% of the overall crypto market. Now, let's get into the historical specifics. Some of this stuff kind of bores some people. This won't take too long, but you need to find out what the heck is going on if it holds any weight when it comes to the actual, thesis of these cycles. Check this out. Historically speaking, technical breaks above and below the 200-day moving average have served as a powerful trend shifts for signals for BTC. First boom cycle, if you weren't aware of this, listen to this. Start with a technical break above the 200-day moving average in the middle of 2012. It ended when BTC broke back below its 200-day moving average in early 2014. The second boom cycle started with a technical break above the 200-day moving average in late 2015. It ended when BTC broke back below the 200-day moving average in early 2018. Now, I want to state this before we get more into this. For those proponents of being BTC maxis, I hate to use this expression again, they're all over this like a fat kid on cake every single time. What's his name? Da Vinci Jeremy, right? A guy who basically said that, XRP is going to go to zero. I don't mean no disrespect to him, but this helps fuel that fire, that claim that, don't invest in all the other cryptocurrencies, only invest in Bitcoin because it's the only real one that, has the cycles, right? Well, that may very well been true in the past, but where are we going here for the future? There's so much more opportunity, in my opinion, when it comes to the alts because of utility. And not only just like some utility, but a lot of utility. If we learned anything from history at all, it's that innovation is what survives. And those who don't innovate get left in the dust. Perfect examples of just that. Look at the AOLs of the world. Look at the Time Warners of the world. Look at pets.com, for crying out loud. Didn't work back then, works now. Basically, Chewy.com, if I'm not mistaken, is kind of like the modern version of what pets.com was supposed to be over 23 years ago. If you don't innovate, you don't create, you get left in the dust. Will BTC eventually be left in the dust? That's where the darn debate comes from, right? Now, the third boom cycle started basically with a technical break above the 200-day moving average in mid-2019. It didn't end, but was temporarily suspended 7 months by a break below the 200-day moving average in late 2019. So in other words, BTC breaks above its 200-day moving average for the first time in a long while. It has always marked the beginning of a big rally for cryptos. And that's what you want to pay attention to basically here. Conversely, when BTC breaks below its 200-day moving average for the first time in a cycle, and listen to this, because I know some of you guys are having some jokes, and that's good. Always smile when things are looking bad, right? We should all smile a little bit, right? We could use some humor. But it is stated that it has always marked either the end or prolonged suspension of a big rally for cryptos. Is this bullish news for you? Or is this just Max just trying to put a smile on my face and give me hope? Well, maybe it's a combination of both. And is that so bad? Now, here's the thing. Let's show you the actual data. Let's show you the actual charts. And we're going to get into that in a minute. We just crossed back below, like what we were talking about, that 200-day moving average on BTC this past week for when the first time in this cycle. And if anything, this is what I wanted to bring it to you guys yesterday, right? And wasn't able to be here with you guys yesterday. I do apologize for that, but sometimes that's just how it is, right? We get busy and real life gets in the way. Here it is, guys, right? Last time we talked about, the crucial 28.5. Well, on the 200-day moving average, this now sits around 27,300. BTC crashed significantly below that on Thursday night, dropping as low as 25.4. I know some of you guys have been paying attention to that, but look what's going on with that. Now, here's a representation, and again, cited specifically from Bloomberg Finance. We do use them as a source. These breaks that happen above and below the 200-day moving average have been powerfully trending this shift, in regards to these signals for BTC. They broke below that 200-day moving average for the first time in this cycle, and you do see this because of what's pointed on the top right. If you're looking at the chart, let me just double check to see if you guys can see this. Okay, yeah, you do. If anything, maybe I'll take the CTN banner off. Yeah, let's take that off just in case you can't see it. So in reality, all right, like it says, because we broke below the 200-day moving average for the first time in this cycle, be aware of a bearish trend shift. Yes, absolutely be aware of it, right? Don't go all in on your accumulation, all right? So always keep a extreme ish, like, oh, wow, just in case. The old saying goes, and we all know it, don't put all your eggs in a basket. And if anything, just because you see some indicators that you feel as though that now is the time, maybe still keep some just in case for when it's the true bottom. Most of us can never guess the true bottom, right? We try to, but here it is. All right, going further down, like it says, that's not good news, and it's not. We talked about before, 28.5 was, we were hoping to keep that support. We lost that, right? So is Max hopping on to the bad news bearish train of 12K BTC? Again, guys, not there yet. The historical precedent is for a bearish trend shift in cryptos over the next few months. That doesn't mean that this boom cycle is over, and that's one thing I want you to take away from it. It doesn't mean it's over at all. Few weeks to a few months is a big difference compared to a few years. The late 2019 break of the 200-day moving average did not kill the third crypto boom cycle. It just suspended it for a long time. We suspect that is exactly what's going on here. If things even do play out on those favorable terms, it still means cryptos are likely to be struck going sideways for a few months. And I want to state this, with all of the FUD that's been going on, and just an overall market. I'm not talking about altcoins, right? Because we could talk about FUD about that all day. But again, we do need some strengthening of the assets. And while people will complain about sideways consolidation on anything, it does help because it gives you indicators of where things are going. Now, do we not just see in the past, not that long ago, like a few weeks ago, some key things, right? And when we do talk about altcoins, especially when it comes to Ripple's XRP, the golden crosses. And what about some of that stuff? We're just going to eliminate all of the data that supports that, like, hey, there could be some really big things going on. Yes, I think some big things could happen. Are those indicators to basically give weight towards the theory of, basically alts are going to surge and BTC and Ethereum aren't? Again, guys, I'm not saying that at all, but it's worth paying attention to all of the data. Now, speaking of data, were you aware? How about this? Bitcoin's two biggest macroeconomic enemies over the past few years have turned out to be the treasury yields and the US dollar. And basically speaking, both are spiking right now. So is it all doom and gloom? Because if anything, it's like, I myself, yes, I want to root for a country to do well, right? Who doesn't? But we all would like to see it all do well, right? crypto, all of this. And again, when we get more into especially the Ripple XRP segment of the night, you'll come to a firmer understanding of, especially if you're new, on how this all works out. Speaking of Treasury, we were just talking about, those yields have developed a very close inverse relationship with BTC. When yields go up, BTC goes down. This is the best graph in the following chart to show you that chart. But basically speaking, you're going to see the plots inverse yields against BTC. The two lines match up almost perfectly. Not quite, but yes, right? And look what's going on with this, okay? You can see that what's going on the darker of the blue compared to the white highlights. It dates all the way back to 2021 and where we're at with 2023. I know that little gray box little thing on the lower right hand corner kind of blocks out part of this, but I'll just leave this up for a second. All right, almost closing this out. Check this out. Yields are charging higher right now. While we think the surge in yields is overdone, basically speaking, there's a lot more to it than just that. And basically, nonetheless, we have to respect the price action, and the price action of surging yields is very bearish for, of course, cryptos. For those who are in the know, again, guys, I'm just telling you flat out, it's so tempting to have our emotions give in and say to yourselves, yes, this is the time I seize the opportunity. But what is one thing I've always told you in the past? Again, your watch list. You have a watch list for a reason, right? There's going to be ones that are on specific sales that are going to stand out a lot more than everything. This is, if certain cryptos stand out for a reason as far as what their sale prices are, that's why it's always good to also pay attention to the ones that are on, that had all-time highs in the past. You pay attention to one, and you also pay attention to the other. Another example I was going to give is like why we shouldn't be maxis on anything. Why we should have a diverse portfolio. By having a diverse portfolio, if you're paying attention, of course, to the prices of certain assets that are like may very well be at all-time lows right now. Say to yourself, that is significant, but if anything, don't go necessarily all in on them. It could go even further from there. Again, guys, the power of the DCA is recognizing all of this, right? So even if you're brand new to this and you're like, I don't know, I'm not comfortable with that. Again, all you have to do is just have a proper portfolio manager. Again, I'd recommend CMC because it's free. A lot of us are on a tight budget. And you just go in there, view what happened on the chart, on its history, and it'll give you a broader perspective of, hey, you know what? This is crazy, man. Like, here's an example. Like, for instance, the graph. You can say GRT is like at 9 cents. That's a pretty good entry point, to be honest. Could it crash further down from there? Could it go down to 7 or 8 cents or 8 or 7 cents? Could very well do that. But you could apply some of these things to a whole bunch of things, right? Again, understanding how far things are down. Here's another good example, right? BSV, one of the things that we tag here, currently about $30. We've seen it a lot cheaper than that, right? My last DCA was $25, and I was so glad that I picked up some because I was in the profits. So again, it all depends on the asset. Pay attention, of course, to the market cap, and of course, what was the all-time highs, lows, all that stuff. All right. So with the dollar spiking, it would be tough for BTC, like it says, to catch even a short-term bid. We showed you that graph earlier, or chart I should say earlier. In recent stock market volatility, economic uncertainty, reinflation fears, rate hike jitters, and basically speaking, there's still glaring lack of legislative clarity, and things don't look great for cryptos in the short term. Now, this lack of legislative clarity, right? It feels like we get glimpses about it and so on. But if we're going to look at things from the U.S. point of view, yes, we're still very much lacking. The other rest of the world, that's a different story, especially like, again, Japan, right? But, let's not forget to mention the unforeseen bomb that one of the crypto industry's biggest supporters, Elon Musk, selling pretty much all of the crypto at his firms, Tesla and SpaceX. And for some of the criticism that he gets, you got to keep in mind, some of his companies almost went bankrupt. He's been recently interviewed, like he barely was able to say Twitter. Some people are even myself, I've complained, not publicly, but just to myself, paying $8 to not have limits. Like shout out to Quant Papa, like, he's getting limits. Some of you guys get limits on your DMs. It sounds ridiculous, right? But keep in mind, right? These, people who don't do the blue check mark, you got to keep in mind this kind of incentivizes people to do it. And if that's what saved his company, then that's what saved his company. There's drastic measures to, he had to do something, right? So another example is like what he mentioned with the Joe Rogan interview. All right. I think it was with Joe Rogan. And that basically is that, every single car manufacturer has gone bankrupt to the exception of Ford. And I guess the other exception was Tesla. So was that like literally a moment where, look, man, I have no choice. If I'm going to save these companies, I have to sell this. Could very well be. You know what I mean? We don't know that. All right. The situation in Cryptoville, right? I never heard it called Cryptoville. That's kind of interesting. Is that it's not looking pretty right now. It's not. But again, if you really truly believe in this stuff, I'm not looking at it from the perspective of, I want you to believe. I want you to have the faith in this. It's not about having faith in this, right? I mean, I'm a religious person. I pray and stuff like that. That's a different type of thing, right? With crypto, it's not trying to hop on the train of a meme token or a meme coin or any of that and follow the fearless leader of, Russ Saitama, believe in me. No, it's not like that at all. What it is, though, is showing you the real deep research when it comes to utility-driven altcoins, right? And understanding that the future basically shows that enough support that, we are going to go with the innovators. Not just 9 times out of 10. We're going to go with them 10 times out of 10 because it's proven, historically speaking, that you should do that. And if we're going to do that, then why are we going to quit this race, if you will, and just throw away all the research because there's fear in the market? For me personally, and I'm not telling you what to do, for me, even in times of hardship and, even questioning like, man, I don't know, like, I got to wait maybe a little bit longer. How much longer? No, I'm not going to say how much longer because I'm saying to myself, look, I'm going to accumulate even that much more. Might not put 10,000 extra into this right now because I'm already heavily invested in the crypto. But I'm saying to myself, what is on sale? Okay, these ones are on sale. What ones do I don't have? These ones I don't have. Do you strongly believe in these? Yes, I do. Did you do your proper research? Yes, I did. Okay, is this a good entry point? Yeah, looks like it is. Okay, understand that the utility run is not here, but you want to know something? It's still consistent with the time frame, in my opinion, of, for instance, like late 2025. And I'm going to stick with that. You don't have to believe anything I have to say. At the end of the day, I'm just a guy who shares my own opinion, show you guys some data, some research, and so on, and say to yourself, make your own decision about any of this. None of it is financial advice. Now, jumping more into this, and I want to share you guys this for a moment. We don't think this ugly thing will happen forever, but if I already read this, excuse me. But we remain on the belief that the short-term dynamics driving crypto lower at the current moment will pass. Listen to this, guys. Will pass by the end of the year and be replaced by favorable upside drivers in 2024. Again, I will use this example because we are going to get into the Jasmine segment in a little bit. Why would there be a Q4 lockup? I'm just saying, think about it for a moment. Why wouldn't they just lock it up now? Does it make sense to lock it up now? Every single thing you've seen in regards to any report always refers to the end of this year, or it refers to the Bitcoin halving of April 2024, unless somehow that got delayed for whatever reason. All indicators point to that, right? If all indicators point to that, why are you, I'm not saying you guys specifically here tonight, just in general, right? Why would anybody give up on any of this? It tells me that you don't believe in the research. You don't believe in the innovations of where we're going and so on. I'm just throwing that out there. Because to me, yes, indicators still have enough support to state that, 2024 is going to be big, but 2025 will be even that much bigger. If I have researched ISO 222 enough to come to the conclusion that November of 2025 is full implementation, I want to see this thing out. And here's a great example. Just for like the example of an assembly line. My dad, for crying out loud, is a retired auto machinist, for the Freightliner Trucking Corporation. He worked on the assembly lines building front ends and also fifth wheels. Can you imagine working on an assembly line? And I think this is a great analogy and it applies to crypto, especially the utility ones. Can you imagine working on an assembly line? All right. And then whoever is the last guy on the line, he has the final pieces of putting the whole darn, Freightliner semi truck together, and basically says, nah, I think me and everybody else here is done. No, you want to see this get completed. You want to see this, for instance, this semi truck go off the assembly line and drive off and be used by who? A trucker, for you could drive it down the road. For the same reasons that I want to see Ripple's XRP actually be used, full utility in motion, Stellar, XTC, QNT, all these utility-driven projects that have a lot of utility. I have to see that through. We're not even close to seeing full implementation, let alone utility in motion. I'm going to keep pounding that at home until, I don't know, I drop dead, I guess. And that is utility in motion. Do we see really a lot of utility in motion? Not really. Not yet. So are these blessings in disguise, or I'm just this crazy guy who talks on YouTube? I don't know. Draw your own conclusion. In closing, in regards to this particular segment, we remain confident in our fourth boom cycle call, and hear this out. We are no longer looking forward for a bounce here now. Instead, we are embracing short-term caution because the data is telling us further short-term weakness is likely. Hence what I just talked about earlier. Great buying opportunity will soon present itself, but not now. Right? And then the part that it doesn't say here is what I was saying. And that is, there's still some opportunities based off your watch list. And it's always going to be that way, whether things are extremely bearish and there's a lot of fear. Again, part of doing your own research is paying attention to the assets that you not only own, but the ones you don't own. Make the right decisions, do your own homework, and if anything, it should reward you very well for doing so. As the saying goes, you work hard at anything and you practice what you preach, or you practice, doing the right type of research, it should reward you well. But any of us who cut corners on anything, how's that work? Probably not too well. So yes, patience. Have that patience. It's basically our best friend. All right, gonna get back into the comments. Thank you guys for being here. We're gonna get into our next segment here in a bit, which is the Jasmine coverage. It is something you want to pay attention to in regards to what's going on here in the United States. So much talk about Japan all the time. Japan. Let's find out what's going on here in the U.S. That will be our next segment. Please stick around for that. Let's get back into the comments and welcome a few of you guys. I'm glad to see we have good numbers, right? Maybe we ticked up into the 60s. I don't know. But I'm glad to see some good numbers here at CTN. Even though there's a lot of fear going on in the market. It tells me that you guys do appreciate the content, and if anything, you like this community that we have here for you guys. All right, let's double check on how we're doing in the likes department. We're at 48 likes. Currently speaking, we could do better, but that's all right. Please smash the like. It helps us tick up. But anyway, let me welcome a few more of you guys. I got to kind of catch up on the comments. Let's see here. Stellar Sorbonne, according to Corey Bibe, basically states, Corey Bibe states, Stellar Sorbonne could be a major player with WASM, taking EVM with its own smart contracts. Let's go. Yes, also don't dismiss Polygon when it comes to ZK EVM. In that regard, there's also, for instance, Cosmos. There's some other ones, but I want to state this: when it comes to Stellar, I think Sorbonne is really going to need to shine, and that's going to be a key proponent for Stellar. And you guys don't want to miss that segment as well. All right, going more into Ackman, says that he understands that BRICS are working on destroying the American dollar. The question is, will the American government allow Ripple, an American company, to work with the BRICS U.S. enemy? That's a good point, man. That is a good point. And if anything, like all the talk before, if Ripple would have lost the case against the SEC, moving, right, would that then be another thing? These are all what ifs, but that's a good point. Good to cause them to move. All right, let's see what else we got up in the comments. Brittany, I think those might be his daughters, Max. Oh, okay. Cool, man. Well, my bad then, Mr. Badir. Sorry about that. All right. Ahmed, this is a new account, Max. My original account was taken by YouTube. I want it back. Yeah, that sucks, man, that they do that. All right, Tim Shea, Ahmed, XRP was born in the US, but it is a global company. Yeah, my bad. I'm so sorry. You always tell me crazy stuff, so I may get myself in trouble. Sorry. All right. But yeah, let's welcome Mr. Badir's kids. Glad to have you here. All right. Some FUD. Hey, Max, with this bear market and all, what's your take on that PayPay Max pump today? I don't have a take on it, man. I didn't get a chance to actually look at it. I'll have to maybe take a look into it. Let's see what's going on with PayPay Max. Let's see. PayPay Max. There's so many PayPays. It's unbelievable, right? Okay. PayPay Max with wrapped ETH. Oh my God, up 85%. Interesting. Wonder how much volume. 9.7K volume. Not a lot, but hopefully you did well on that, my friend. I mean, some of you guys really do well with that, rightfully so. All right. Let's read just a couple more. I should say a few more, right? Because I was really into that deep dive. I want to recognize you guys. Crypto Oracle, fear the huddle. They won't break us. All right, boom, boom. Let's shake up this room. Tick, 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 boom. Maybe you guys remember that old hip hop song? If you're old enough, been around long enough, you remember. I know some old FUD remembers those old songs. All right. Let's see. Look, connection. Yeah, had some guys recently when it came to that. Was it Jasmine QNT video? The guy was like, "Where's your sources?" I was just like, if I actually respond to this guy, it's just going to be this never ending thing. For you guys that watched it, you understand what I'm talking about, right? It's just like, how can I provide sources on, possibilities for the future, right? I could give them sources of what I reference from the links. All the guy's going to do is he's going to look at some of those links, be like, "Oh, there's nothing confirmed here." It's like, you didn't watch. Yeah, I just don't want to get into it. It's like literally that segment was probably like a part 2 or part 3. Am I really gonna have? Are any of these fudders really gonna, watch multiple videos? No, they probably just looked at the thumbnail and they're like, source, scam, source. I want source. Give me source. All scam. Anyway, all right. Mike is checking in. I read that one earlier, but yes, welcome again, Mike. Glad to have you, Mike. Buying quant at 100, quant under 100. It's all good, man. Edward Vincent, Mr. Squidward, doing it big. Saying hello to everybody. Glad to have you here, Mr. Edward Vincent, the squiddest of the Squidwards. All right. Brian Riley, yes. Live long and prosper, my friend. All right. Yeah, I'm glad that hopefully you don't cut that connection, man. That would suck. All right. Cynthia, hopefully I pronounced this right. Yahara, aloha. Well, hello to you in Hawaii. Hopefully things are okay with where you're at. I don't know what island you're on and so on. Sad what happened, obviously, to people in Maui. And if anything, I think we're all seeking the truth on that. All right. Tim Shea, Eva has good visuals too, Max. Yes, that's very, very true. Very, very true. Where's Brian Dowie? All right, is he off watching Crypto Hulk or something? He's not here tonight. I don't I don't know if he's here tonight, but shout out to Brian Dowie, and hopefully we'll hear about Menelect at some point. It's been crickets. I really hope to God he's okay. All right, guys, please smash that like. We are 61 people right now. Not too shabby. Not too shabby at all, especially with all the fear of the market. All right. Follow Me says he sold all his Ripple for quant, supply, and demand. Oh, man, I wouldn't do that, my friend. But you know what? You got to do what you got to do. But at least, how about this? Can we at least give him props on this? At least he's not saying, I sold all my Ripple for PayPay. Or I sold it all for Saitama or something like that. You know? Anyway. All right, Anonymous Crypto Ghost. Ho, ho, ho. Where is Santa when you need him? Hello, Max. Oh, shoot, man. Maybe it's because my beard. You know, I know. It's getting all gray. I got to trim and dye it up again. I'm looking pretty old. But that's okay. All right. Yes, you're very welcome, Mr. Follow Me. All right, we're going to read like maybe a couple more comments, and then we're going to kick it into the outline. I'm going to double check the other screen. I want to welcome Mr. Elon Muff, Mike Cornwell. I want to give a special shout out to Mr. Harry. I won't ruin it. All right. Din G, why won't BRICS use VChain? I don't know. Why doesn't a lot of people use VChain for a lot of things? That's a good question, though. All right. 12K. Yeah, I mean, you're always going to see that. I mean, right? Am I too far off? I bet you anything, because you guys are very active in other shows, 2bits, and you guys go over to Rodney's, wherever, right? There's always going to be that one guy's going to be like, oh, it's going to crash to 12K. I don't know about that, you know. I mean, I'm not dismissing that there could be some bad, you know, like a black swan, you know. You got, how about this real quick? Do you guys feel as though there's at least one more black swan event that's going to happen by the end of the year? Could be, you know. I haven't seen Brian Dowie in the comments, but I would think Brian Dowie would say maybe there would be. All right. I'm going to use this as bookmark from Tim Shea. Going to double check the other screen real quick, see how we're doing. Calvin, I'll read this one real quick. Oh, there's Brian Dowie. Max had a few beers and smoked one, but made it, bro. Oh, well, welcome, Brian Dowie. Always good to see Brian. Always good to see Calvin. Max, anytime I post a legit crypto question or observation, those with something representing a wrench symbol accusing me of being tight with Caroline. I don't get it. Please help. Oh, jeez. Oh, God. You know, it doesn't sound right. All right. Okay. Can we just leave it at this? Tight with Caroline. Think about what you just said. Tight with Caroline. There's nothing tight with Caroline. Moving on. All right. All right, let's get more back into our outline. My God, this is getting off the rails. But all right, let's get back into it. All right. So we share with you guys obviously what's going on with the overall crypto market. Talked about, you know, some of the extreme fear and so on. Act as you will. Do what you got to do. Have a plan. That's the bottom line. Let's now kick it into the Jasmine coverage, all right? And for those of you guys who don't follow me on crypto Twitter, I'll catch you up on some of this stuff. So basically speaking, some of you guys know that I did apply to be the Jasmine ambassador from the United States. And they have this winners list, all right? So it says straight from, I imagine, you know, Hara, whoever wrote this up from the Jasmine management team. Thank you for your active participation. Jasmine's success is inseparable from your support. The following is a list of winners of the OG badge. If your name is below, please get in touch with us and send your BSE address. Done that, right? But I want to state this, okay? And this is me being real about it. I never knew a long time ago that they're going to do something like this. You know what I mean? There's always going to be like a random flutter bill. Oh, yeah, you did. That's why you put out Jasmine coverage every other, you know, almost every day. Hey, want to know something? You know, not saying there's a flutter watching, but there could be. I would have covered Jasmine gladly, right? Is gladly even a really word? Anyway, I would have covered Jasmine whether I was being paid to cover Jasmine or not. And I think that's been proven, all right? I'm personally heavily invested into Jasmine, okay? And so my thing is, I believe in Jasmine. I will continue to cover Jasmine, whether I'm being paid for it or not. You know, unlike a lot of other crypto stations that you tune into where they have some garbage meme token to promote, you don't see that here on this platform, right? So if anything, it's kind of a nice breath of fresh air maybe to see a content creator who does something like that. For all the more, like if I was able to get paid in QNT, that is never going to happen. I mean, as much as I would love that to happen, that is never happening, right? Because they don't focus on retail, right? But nonetheless, this is cool. And I don't know, I haven't got anything obviously in my my Binance Smart Chain address and receive anything. But anyway, a little bit more about this. If the winner is on Twitter, like it says, right? So I went through this, and I apparently, shout out to Mr. OG Crypto, right? This has nothing to do, with him, all right? But he's just an OG, but not, they have these little categories, right? So Venus OGs, you have 279, who's obviously Jasmine Pronor, again, the Phoenix area. I'm just pointing out some people that I know about, right? There's House of Chimera, Icy Amphibian, obviously deserved it. There's me on this list right here, right? TBG Maximus, right? And then some of the other ones, right, for Discord, the Jupiter people, whatever. So what does this all mean, basically? Well, my thing is this. I got to get some clarity from the team on what they expect from me. I mean, I saw in the past, so, on the application what they expect and so on, but I imagine there'd be some kind of maybe like a follow-up even further from there. And I also want to state this, right? And of course, this is no disrespect towards the Jasmine team and so on. We all have our own way of doing things. My hope and my prayer is that I can continue to cover Jasmine the way I want to cover Jasmine. If it ever gets to the time where I am being suppressed for any reason, even if I'm getting a little bit of BS, Jasmine, in the form of BNB or BNB, you know what I mean, from the Binance bridge, the BNB bridge. To me, again, I like talking about this, and my thing is, if for any reason it was just like, well, we don't agree with you saying it this certain way, or they discovered that I mentioned something that was borderline NDA, I don't know where the case be. I mean, I would have to, of course, respect that, but it just depends. I don't see anything being that drastic, but I can understand why people, like, for instance, I think it was we saw a report that Dip Metaverse didn't apply for it, I guess, for some of those reasons. Again, I don't speak on these guys' behalf. Jesse of KIR, Keep It Real Finance, he didn't apply for it either. And I heard some of those reasons that could be a possibility. For me, I'm okay with that. You know what I mean? I want to see how it goes. And again, if for whatever reason I wasn't okay with it, again, I'm a person. I could agree to, like, just not simply be an ambassador or whatever. I don't even know fully if I'm an ambassador. I'm just saying I'm on this list, right, for whatever that means. And I have to go and follow up with, these guys and so on. And I have. So I'm just giving you guys a heads up on that. It's pretty cool. I don't know. I'm not trying to toot my own horn or anything like that, but I know some of you guys were saying, hey, did you apply for it? I did apply for it. So there you go. All right. Jump into the next part of what we have. And this is, I guess you could say, in reference to these badges. Some of you guys don't even are aware of this. Some of you guys aren't. I don't know. But basically speaking, this is called this OG Kernel event. What is a Jasmine OG? OG is a badge for Jasmine, who has been supporting us all the time, and this badge will also give benefits for has some benefits for Jasmine. They launched 3 kinds of OG badges: the Jasmine Mercury, Venus, and Jupiter. Where the benefits, you get a unique role in the community. You get an NFT apparently. Join a special private OG channel, 24 admin response, Jasmine exclusive news, and I like this part: exclusive news. Hopefully, I could share some of that exclusive news with you guys, but I don't know. I don't know how that's going to work. Hara irregular private meeting, that will be something. You know what I mean? I respect Hara. I won't try to, joke around too much with him. Comes on the camera. Was it a Zoom meeting? I'm like, oh, Hara-san. You know what I mean? I don't know. I don't know if it's gonna work that way. He might not like that. I'm not gonna do that, but I'm saying. There's more benefits, of course. How can we, be an OG? Well, you got to apply for it, right? So basically speaking, I already applied, not for this, but I applied to be an ambassador. So I got to get clarification. It's like I'm gonna say something like, hey, I never exactly applied to be an OG, but I applied to be an ambassador, and all of a sudden now I'm OG. So again, guys, some of the clarification, and it's okay. I'm not complaining. All right. Getting more into what we have for our outline. All right. I want to share this, and this is, back to what you really want in regards to news. So let's just go ahead and jump into this. All right. So here's the interpretation. And this time it's from the one and only Genki Oda. Now hear us out on this, because we talk about Genki Oda quite a bit, especially with his connection with BitPoint, connection with JVCEA in regards to the Japanese version of the SEC. And then on top of that, SBI. He's a big wig when it comes to all this. Decision maker, you name it, right? So getting more into what we have, let's get into this. Give me just a second. All right, excuse me. All right, so he states today, and in reality, this is not today, it's a little while back, but it kind of flew under the radar. Thought I'd bring it to you guys. But anyway, he says they submitted a request for tax reform regarding crypto assets. With regard to Web3, while various reforms are being carried out, if the tax reform is realized, Japan will become the center of the Web3 in the world, basically. Web3 in the world. Again, the request for tax reform is not a request for tax reform for crypto asset users and user asset exchanges, but a request for tax reform for just that, Japan. Now, we have talked about some of these things in the past in regards to tax reform in Japan and how big it can be. Goes on to also mention, it is estimated that the revision of the tax system will increase the probability that crypto assets will return to Japan and increase tax revenue. And this is big because probability that crypto assets will return to Japan is a big proponent, right? Not just for Japan, but the rest of the world. You got to keep in mind, and this is why we always show you guys some of these things that you may feel as though it has nothing to do with crypto. Has everything to do with crypto, right? Just because it doesn't say crypto on it has still everything to do with crypto. We know basically that, Japan still ranks number 3 overall when it comes to global GDP, gross domestic product. So the probability that crypto assets will return to Japan is a big deal, for the same reason why we gave that outline earlier, that, hey, guess what? You may not be invested into BTC. You may not be invested into Ethereum, but they still represent 81% of the overall crypto market. We still need to pay attention to all these things. So we will continue to work for Japan. Here's some, of course, of his references. Again, it's all in Japanese because he's not really talking to us in here in the United States. He's talking to people in Japan. But again, I follow this stuff. All right, jumping to the next part of what we have. Give me just a second. I'll be right back in about 30 seconds. All right, sorry about that. So jumping into the next part of what we have in regards to Jasmine, a little bit more on this outline. I want to jump into this, and this again is something that you guys brought to my attention. I guess you could say like late July, but I never had a chance to get more into this. And if anything, this is still good. I want you to see this for a second. So I got to give an honorable mention to what's going on with Hyundai and Kia, because basically speaking, again, introducing blockchain-based CO2 emission monitoring system for suppliers. What are some of the key takeaways? Well, it's just that IoT applications are beginning on the blockchain. That's a great thing, right? Because especially when we talk about with Jasmine, they're all about IoT, are they not? There's other proponents from blockchain in regards to IoT and so on. Not just Jasmine, but the key thing that my focus should be on and your focus should be on, even though you see all these tagged here, Ethereum, XRP, XLM, HBAR, Algorand, Quant, Casper, you could definitely include the likes of Jasmine on the list because, like it says, transactions between autos and other devices will be massive. Jasmine, of course, has that key thing going on with Toyota, right? Not directly with Toyota, but if anything, like we confirmed, one of their subsidiaries. If you understand the concept of, Daimler, Chrysler, Benz, right? You understand the subsidiaries, the Mopars of the world, right? Same type of example. So Hyundai being on Hyperledger. What did I talk about in the last deep dive video when it came to Jasmine QNT? Hyperledger. Yeah, Hyperledger. Pay attention to what's always going on in Hyperledger. So I'm not going to get into all of this, but I want to jump to this part real quick. Hyundai's in-house startup program. Hyundai Motor Group has been nurturing in-house startups since 2000 in order to generate new ideas about innovative products and services. The program has introduced 53 in-house startups as of March of 2020, 13 of which have been successfully spun off from Hyundai. In addition, 10 companies have completed preparations for spin-offs so far. Goes on to also mention that in the early stages, in-house startups were mainly focused on the auto parts related business. However, their targets have been widened to include a wide range of future-oriented business fields such as mobility, blockchain, IoT, and eco-friendly materials. Very true. Very well, worth pointing out. Again, a little bit more about Hyundai. They have announced a new partnership with IBM. And think about this for a second. Remember how we always reference IBM, especially when it comes to Hyperledger? Hyundai has announced a new partnership with IBM to advance the use of what? Blockchain tech and cloud-based AI. Cloud-based AI, who is also trying to, accomplish some of these things. Yeah, you better believe it. Jazz me. IBM will focus on creating new supply chain financing ecosystem using open source Hyperledger Fabric. Again, the key thing is this: the common, and I hate to use this expression, right? But it's something we always say as teachers, especially if you ever taught math. The common denominators, if you will. The project aims to automate manual processes, reducing costs and lead time, and through that, improving customer experience. Again, we talked about innovation earlier. It's all about innovation, believing in the research, clean technology. All these are contributors towards Society 5.0. All right, a little bit more in regards to the Jasmine coverage. And again, on this segment, I want to show you guys some big things. All right, so apologize to anybody on the DM box, but if I click on the actual specific one for the screenshot, it shrinks it down. So I want to make it nice and big. So thank you to Forza Lecce, Simon Greco. I believe this is who this is. Mark Aureli Brune. This is the guy I want to introduce to you. He's a senior project manager over at cell therapy at Sony Corporation. Who is this guy, and why should Max make such a big deal, or why even bring it to you guys? Well, if anything, I'm going to show you why right now. And this is pretty cool stuff. So we do use Justia for our reference source when it comes to patents. We've done this numerous times. We originally did it when it came to Kazumasa Sato. So let's introduce this guy, Mark Aureli Brune. And if anything, remember some of the key things I mentioned previously, either on the live show or some of the recordings, right? So let's get into it. The patents by inventor Mark Aureli Brune. Mark Aureli Brune, if I'm pronouncing that right, could be butchered up. I apologize. He has filed for patents to protect the following inventions. This listing includes patent applications that are pending, as well as patents that have already been granted by the United States. Yes, the United States Patent and Trademark Office, USPTO. Yeah, believe it or not, we are now getting into the weeds of the United States. Max is not just focusing on Japan. Who said I ever was trying to focus on Japan? If Japan is what's trending and that's what's in the news, we'll report that. If we have something solid in regards to the United States, we'll report that as well, right? We're going to pay attention to all of it. Let's jump into this next part. Blood coagulation system analyzer, blood coagulation system analysis method and program. What was something similar that you saw not too long ago with some of our previous deep dives? What was going on with Kazumasa Sato, right? And that was for Japan. This one's for the United States. Is this guy connected with Kazumasa Sato? Well, absolutely. We'll show you guys a little bit more about that here in a bit. This publication number, you can nerd it out. What's some of the abstract? Well, like it says, there's provided blood coagulation system analyzer, including a measurement section and analysis section. The measurement section measures a time change of impedance of a blood sample, which is obtainable by applying an alternating electric field to the blood sample. The analysis section extracts a parameter indicating the characteristics of the impedance from the measured data, again, measured data of the time change of the impedance. Furthermore, the analysis section analyzes a degree of enhancement of blood coagulation on the basis of a comparison of the extracted parameter with at least one reference value, which defines the criteria of the enhancement of blood coagulation. When it was originally found? 2019. Who was one of the inventors? Yeah, this guy, Mark Aureli Brune. Why should that matter to you? Well, here's the thing. The plugs, if you will, for the United States and so on. Another thing you should take away from this is what? Again, guys, think about why we pay attention to all the deep dives that we do here. The CARE project. Who's also partnered with the CARE project? Ripple. Now, Jasmy doesn't have a direct partnership with Ripple, but again, like I've mentioned in previous other deep dives, birds of the feather flock together, right? That's the bottom line. Key partnerships for the goal of, right, Society 5.0 and so on. As we get more and more into this, there's other more up-to-date patents and so on. Talks more about this blood coagulation, but your key takeaway, again, should be this guy, Mark Aureli Brune, and what he, has to bring to the table. Now, for a brief moment, we're going to talk about this patent, terahertz spectrometer, and I'm going to show you an example about this here in a moment. So this is something that includes an optical fiber and emitter. The optical fiber is branched from a gain fiber constituting, let me pronounce that right, an ultra-short pulse oscillator. The emitter generates a terahertz wave from a pulse beam guided from the gain fiber through the optical fiber. Again, what is one of the key things for Jasmy? Internet of Things, IoT. These are some of the Internet of Things. All right, what I want to show you guys again here, what's the key thing from this takeaway? Who is the assignee? It's Sony. That's interesting. And if anything, it's interesting because when I get more into this outline, I'm going to show you that the main key thing is Kazumasa Sato also doing many patents, but this guy being a partner with Kazumasa Sato. Now, we know that Sato was a former Sony executive, okay? And, of course, these former Sony executives are now part of Jasmy. But one of the key criticisms that Jasmy gets, especially recently or in the past and so on, is that, okay, former keys to Sony, but you don't have anybody active in Sony, right? Is that a good argument that they mentioned? Well, for me, that's not such a great argument, but I can understand people's point. But one of the cool things is this guy still having that Sony connection. Well, it hasn't been recent, Max? Oh, yeah, you better believe it has been recent. Goes on a little bit more about some of these other things, even dating back to 2009, but that's not the point. The point is what I want to show you in regards to a little bit more about this. Hopping over to pubmed.ncbi.nlm. There's this piece about this, and it goes into some detail that you want to pay attention to. And number one is the contrast improvement of terahertz images of thin histopathological sections. Now, you may think, man, I don't know, why don't you just talk about the token, Max? There's nothing really juicy here. The hell there isn't. Look at this. We present terahertz images of 10, where the heck this means, some terminology that I'm not aware of, thick histopathologic sections obtained in reflection geometry with a time domain spectrometer. I wish I could blow this a little bit more. I try to, but it just messes everything up because of these ads and stuff. But just listen to what I got to say on this. It says, in this demonstration, improvement contracts for sections measured with paraffin with water. Automated segmentation is applied to the complex refractive index data, generated clustered terahertz images, and here's this part, distinguishing cancer from healthy tissues. That's interesting because if anything, this tells me, again, I don't have to get in writing from the CARE project. This totally gets me to the point where I could draw my own conclusions. You know, at the end of the day, we're not dumb when it comes to this stuff. We're not oblivious when it comes to this stuff. You know, there's reasons why Jasmine has these key partnerships, care projects especially, and even not just the care project, right? Contributing to this concept of Society 5.0 blankets a whole spectrum that people just aren't really aware of. I mean, you know, when we talk about the examples of like public transportation, that's just one sector. What about the medical sector of things, right? The degree classification of pixels is then evaluated using registered visible microscopic images. Principal component analysis and propagation simulations are employed to investigate the origin and the gain of image contrast. Now, where am I going to go with this? Well, if anything, show some of these figures, and you can look more into it yourself. I mean, it's kind of hard to understand, but the key thing is this: medical data. Have you ever looked into it? Have you ever really truly looked into medical data? And if anything, have you ever really looked into it from the point of view of how much that industry is worth? For Kazumasa Sato to have these patents, basically, you know, he's an inventor. That in itself sounds amazing, right? But coming up with key patents to contribute towards Society 5.0, right? The Internet of Things is a big deal because they're hitting so many industries. This is why I feel as though Jasmine is such a sleeper that people just simply don't understand. Newcomers will look at the chart and that's all they do. They haven't taken more of the deep dive research into the bigger picture of things. And that's such a shame because at the end of the day, for me personally, I want to invest in something that is going to give me that best risk to reward ratio, but if anything, a great return on investment, that ROI. Understanding all the industries that Jasmine is involved in is big, is huge, especially when understanding that, you know, when we talk about utility and emotion, and that's my main thing lately. I don't know about you, but you know, I'm not going to give up on this race that we're in. Right? We got to finish the race. So many people will, so many people will quit the race, and what I mean by that is they tune in, they see the overall market is crashing, and so on. Oh, I don't want to be invested in this. You know, okay, so you're going to get invested into crypto when we're, you know, back up to 3+ trillion or 4 trillion, or how about this in the utility run, well past 10 trillion? That's when you're going to choose to get into it. It'll be too late at that point. Why would anybody want to spend a ton of money because the narrative is, oh, now you should get into crypto? Why? Because the news outlets are now telling you? What the hell do the mainstream news outlets have ever known about crypto? They don't. They only report on two things. You guys know that. That is extreme pumps or extreme crashes, or like black swan events, like for instance, what's happened with FTX and so on, right? Those are the things they report on. They never talk about the use case of some of these cryptocurrencies. And if anything, the only time anything is mentioned in regards to use cases is if somebody like Brandon Garlinghouse of Ripple was able to do a sit-in on an interview on Fox Business or CNBC and briefly talk about it. That's about it. It's up to us as the community to basically share the community-driven news about all this stuff. All right, let's jump back into this for a moment. So the medical industry is a very big deal. Again, why would Kazumasa Sato go through all the trouble of inventing some of these key things and getting the patents in regards to it in Japan? But what about the darn United States? Don't you think that this is a big deal? I think it's a big deal. Let's jump more into this. So I like this. This was shared from journals.apps.org. Physical review. Urea glycerol system, liquid associated structure, studied by dielectric spectrop. I can't even pronounce some of this stuff. I'm not a medical professional, right? Majored in business, didn't major in medical, so bear with me. But again, who's referenced here? Mark Aureli Brune, okay? Goes on to mention some of these key things. Again, you can nerd it out. But the key thing is this: numerous different studies and, if anything, publications to support some of his key findings. I mean, like, here's an example, if you want to nerd it out more, right? Data shown for frequencies in the range, useful range, talks about this whole concept of, all this stuff. I mean, this is all technical stuff. I don't understand it, but I understand it's a big deal. And I think, if anything, you understand that's a big deal. Getting more into this. Who is this guy? The bottom line is, why is Max making a big deal about who this guy is? Well, basically speaking, look at this. His current workplace. And this is what you should pay attention to. And if anything, I'll try to blow this up a little bit more. Yeah. All right. So, Mark Aureli Brune, project manager, cell therapy at Sony-based Kunin in Tokyo. Previously, he was a student at, and it gives more of his profile, but that's not the point. The point is this right here. Been working as a senior project manager, cell therapy at Sony for 3 years. Sony. So for some of the negative naysayers who want to say the former Sony executives are not connected with anybody at Sony, the hell they're not, right? Like it says, Sony is part of the electronics industry and located in Japan. But the point is, this guy, cell therapy at Sony for the last 3 years, partnered up with who? Partnered up with Kazumasa Sato. That should be one of your key takeaways. And of course, his connection to what? The United States. So my point is this: when we share some examples, and I shared it last week, and that is, basically speaking, sharing, the examples of Avita in English. And then before, it was always focused on, the Japanese versions and so on. You're starting to see a lot of little indicators of this shift. Not so much a shift in where all the focus is on the United States, but it's a combination of things. Some of the focus is obviously in Southeast Asia, right? Specifically, like looking at Hong Kong and so on. Obviously, Japan. We talked a little bit of some of these other areas. And then, of course, things that were speculative. Kunitake Ando's office for many, many years that was established in the San Francisco Bay Area. Now this guy, right? Again, shout out to Simon Greco for sharing some of this on a DM. Really appreciate the community-driven news to be able to share it with you all. If you too would like to be a sideline reporter of CTN, go ahead and follow me at DPG Maximus. All you got to do is either DM me or tag me, and I'll share some of that news with our community. That's what we're all about here at CTN, is community. If we didn't have no community, we didn't have Jack Diddley squat. You basically have somebody that would read the top 1,000, and then that would be it. All right, let's jump into the next part of what we have, and if anything, take a look into this. So we are going to get into the Ripple XRP news here in a brief moment, and it's going to be in regards to this lady named Pega Sultani. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. And she's going to talk about growth opportunities for SMEs with payments. That'll be the next part of our agenda for tonight. I'm going to get back into the comments. Thank you guys so much for being here. Please smash that like. And let's see how we're doing on the other page in regards to likes and comments, all that stuff. Currently at 56 likes. All right. So let's see here. I saw a few more people came. All right, let me see where my last comment was, and then we'll read some key questions or comments that you guys have. Okay. Just kind of catching up because there's a lot that I got to catch up on. Somebody said they wanted a floating head max. That's interesting. Maybe, possibly, no promises. Maybe sometime this week. I don't know. All right. Oh man, there's a lot. If I can find out where the heck it is. All right, there it is. All right, so Crypto Mike is saying, what up, homies? I'm gonna read this. Magic Power. So if you look at the macro economy, we still have severe recession ahead of us. Furthermore, giants of financial institutions are preparing to enter the crypto market. Magic Power also says they will use the upcoming recession and fake black swan events to buy extremely cheaply. That's a good point, man. I also want to welcome Wayne Side. It says, when Shiba? Oh, man. Probably at the height of the next bull market, man. Definitely not now. Magic Power, BTC will therefore fall extremely sharply. 4 to 6K? My God, that's like the craziest thing I've ever seen. That's really low. Altcoins will also fall sharply. Crypto's in the sell-off. A big crash is coming. So you believe even half of what the 12K theory is, huh? All right, I'll just read a couple more, or a lot more, I should say. The bottom in the crypto market, according to Magic Power, has not yet reached. The rise since the beginning of 2023 was a complete big manipulation that is not really sustainable. All right. When Shibarium, I'm still going to lean with what I said earlier, September. All right. Let's go further down. Wayne Side says, has all the BTC ETFs been postponed in 2024? Seems like that's the case, but we'll see. Corey Bibe, networks such as Polkadot, Multiverse X, and Internet Computer. I got to get me some Internet Computer, to be honest. ICP is still dirt cheap. I think it's a great opportunity. All right, Hub Not Dump. All the institutional investors that dumped their crypto was to look good on their earnings report. All right, let me see if you guys have any specific questions. I did welcome you earlier, Brian, but here's another welcome. Boom. Let me see if there's anybody else that I might have skipped for whatever reason. All right, let's see here. Let me see. I'm just trying to catch up. Nothing personal. Dave D says, hi, everyone. Is that muscular green guy giving good info on XRP? Oh, the muscular green guy. Talking about Crypto Hulk. I imagine he's probably doing his thing pretty well. All right. Hub Not Dump. Yo, what's up with Vitalik moving Ethereum through some backdoor? And did anyone hear about it? Not the 600 ETH. It was some other ETH. He has been moving for some time. All right. Let's see if you guys got any specific questions. All right, here's a question. Mr. Lambo's Crypto Talk. Heard someone that Elon has millions of XRP. You guys think that's true? We already confirmed it is true. We showed you some screenshots. You might have missed that. It's okay. Yeah, we did show some screenshots in regards to that. He did. He bought it a long time ago for very, very cheap. So basically speaking, I can't remember exact amount it was, but it was over 200,000 American dollars worth at the time. And now it's worth over 10 million. Not too bad, right? All right. All right, let's welcome Cool Cat Crypto. Welcome, Mr. Triple C. Boom. All right. What else we got in the comments? Magic Power says, according to BitInfo charts, Binance and Bitfinex are currently among the largest Bitcoin wallets in the world. Interesting. All right, let's welcome April Cornwell. We got a new look. Let's see what it looks like. That's a nice new look, April. Right on. Mike is probably really proud. She says, hey. Yes. Glad to have you here, April. Here's a dab from Max in Phoenix, Arizona. All right. Well, Northwest Phoenix. Glendale, Phoenix border, whatever you want to call it. All right. Let me see. I got to go back up to where I was at. It just kind of went away. It's because there's a new wave of comments came in. I'm just going to read a few more anyway. Let me see where I was at. Where was I at? I hate when it goes away like this. Well, I'll just go further down this way then. Marks the spot. Welcome, welcome. Don't forget Trump meeting with all the BRICS nations years back, saying several times we're heading towards a level playing field. XRP sure does level the playing field, all planned. You know, I think, if anything, I don't think you're too far off, because you know what? There's been a lot of indicators or a lot of evidence shown that a lot of this seems like it is planned. I don't mean to sound like a conspiracy theorist, because I'm not. But I also look at like the bigger picture of things, and it's just like, yeah, you want to know something? I don't think that is, yeah, I don't think you're too far off with that. Like your avatar, looks very cool. And guys, let's give X Marks the Spot a warm welcome. All right. I want to read this because we didn't get a chance to read any Cool Cats comments. This might be a joke, but it's okay. Larry bought the gratitude rock to Hooters, and they thought it was gay and banned him. Oh, jeez. That was funny. All right. What else we got? We read some of those. Bobby Powers, welcome back, H-Bar. You know, our last video on H-Bar did really well. I think that might have been our best H-Bar video ever. So I was glad to do that. It's kind of hit or miss when it comes to H-Bar with our coverage, but trying to get better at it. All right. We're the creators of XDC from India. Maybe the BRICS will use XDC. I don't know about that. I always thought it was, you know, from some of the Asian countries, but I don't know. Maybe you're right. All right. Let's see here. I'm going to read like 2-3 more comments. That's it. And then we're going to get back into our coverage. Dark Mace. Will Grand Theft Auto 6 use Jasmine? You never know, right? For, you know, Sony PlayStation 6. I have a Sony PlayStation 6, you know, like the concept art. I don't have it primed ready for you guys, but maybe I'll show you for some time. It's pretty cool. All right. Let's go further down. I'll read like a couple more. Here's Brian Dowey. I feel special. Max went from skipping my comments to looking for me. Vaseline. Oh my gosh. All right. That sounds funny. All right, let's welcome Cash Cats. Always good to see you, Cash. And with that said, we're going to get back into our outline of what we have tonight. All right, so in the process of doing so, let's jump into a little bit more of what we have. Just going to clear out some tabs. Maybe get things running a little bit better. Okay. All right. Hopefully you guys like the Jasmine coverage tonight. I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's not as juicy as some of the other info, but you should always pay attention to what's going on in the background. All right. Please smash that like for some Ripple XRP. We're now going to get into the Ripple segment of what we have for you tonight on CTN. So here we go. This comes straight from the official Ripple. And like you see right here, this was actually posted, I think, about 4:30 my time, because I'm on Pacific time. So roughly about 3 hours ago. Okay. So I want to share this with you. And it's in regards to what's mentioned here. Faster, more transparent, and more reliable cross-border payments give a big lift to small business growth plans. Well, how about this? Small to medium. And that's one of the things that you're going to hear in regards to this segment that we have for you tonight in regards to Ripple's XRP. Pega Sultani, again, I could be pronouncing that wrong, explains how blockchain tech can transform the payment landscape and fuel growth opportunities for SMEs with payments. Now, the key thing here is this is new, and I'd like to see some new things posted in regards to Ripple. All right, so I'm going to take you over to this, and the article was new from Ripple, but the actual interview is from the 16th. We're going to get to some of the key areas of this. But before we start things off, like it says, small to medium-sized enterprises. That's the bottom line. SMEs help economies around or across the world go around, I should say. But despite their significant contributions to global commerce, local SMEs have long been underserved by traditional financial institutions when it comes to their own cross border payments and international expansion goals. So, what's this all about basically? Well, again, we're going to show you this interview. And give me a second to pull it up. All right. Here we go. Please smash that like. And if anything, we'll play about roughly, I don't know, maybe about 6 to 7 minutes of this. Pretty good. Here we go.
I'm Austin Prey, senior reporter here at Payments. Joining me today is Pegah Soltani, the head of payment products at enterprise crypto company Ripple. Thanks for joining us today, Pegah.
Hi, thanks for having me.
And today we're talking about an exciting topic, crypto payments for small and medium-sized enterprises. But before we dig into that, do you mind just introducing me to yourself and your role at Ripple?
Yeah, sure. I'm Pegah Soltani. I'm the head of payments product at Ripple, where I work on our payment solution to deliver cross-border payments for our customers around the world.
Awesome, which is very relevant because that's kind of what we're talking about today. Can you share a little bit about why SMEs or small and medium-sized enterprises are an important segment when it comes to cross-border payments?
So SMEs are crucial for the world economy. They ensure a ton of competition and drive innovation. Most of the companies in the world are actually SMEs. They're also a massive part of cross-border payments. So they constitute over $17 trillion of cross-border payments every year. And they're growing much faster than other segments. And a lot of that is spurred by the digital economy and their ability to tap into different markets for new customers. At the same time, they remain very underserved. So while they're big in totality and the aggregate volume is really big, by definition, each one of them is quite small. So when the incumbents are thinking of serving them, the perceived value that they get from these companies is less than what it costs them to serve them.
Got it. Yeah. And so just building off of that point, SMEs, they tend to lose business to larger companies who have those more established global payment rails. They have correspondent banking relationships. And, particularly as it relates to the pursuit of emerging market opportunities, what are some of the primary reasons that SMEs should be considering crypto payments to kind of, to help close that gap with these bigger companies?
SMEs really feel the pain of correspondent banking much more acutely versus larger companies. They have a lot less resources, and because they're smaller, they have worse service, worse pricing relative to the bigger competitors. And if something goes wrong in their business for their payments, like the payment gets lost, it doesn't arrive, they're really caught at a loss. Crypto removes the friction with correspondent banking, which we really need in a world without a global banking system. And these frictions range from settlement times to pricing to transparency, showing up in ways where it can take up to 5 days to settle a payment. And you have hidden fees. So if I'm an SME and I think I'm sending you a certain amount, you're actually receiving something different because various middlemen have deducted fees along the way. By removing intermediaries using blockchain solutions, you can really reduce the delays and provide upfront visibility into all the fees. So using a solution like Ripple Payments, you don't have any surprises. There's also a lot of operational benefits that come with blockchain because the technology is transparent, traceable, auditable, and you have clear records at every stage. So you get complete visibility into the cost, the status, and the timing all along the payment journey.
Awesome. Yeah. And, maybe building off of some of those points you mentioned, what benefits, kind of convincing value adds are there to, for a SME looking for, a new cross-border solution? What would convince them to use a platform like Ripple rather than, a retail bank or an acquiring bank, or another financial platform that holds their merchant account and is familiar with their operation.
By cutting out the middleman, blockchain-powered solution increase speed and reduce costs. So Ripple Payments specifically is a global network with financial institutions like banks and payment providers, or those with licenses to move money around the world, as well as corporations as customers. And this product enables those customers to send payments faster, cheaper, and more efficiently than otherwise, which in turn enhances their business performance. To go a little bit deeper, that means that with Ripple, settlement is in seconds with near zero failure rates. The solution is always available 24/7, 365, regardless of weekend cutoff times or holidays. And the fees are up to 90% less than status quo systems. So to date, we've done 20 million transactions and $30 billion in volume. So it's been a real proven service for these customers. And there is also additional operational benefits. So in the traditional banking or correspondent banking, these companies have to forecast how much money they need, when they need it, where they need it. They need to plan for weekends, holidays. And if they get any of that wrong, it's costly and it results in a really bad customer experience for their customer, ultimately translating to lost revenue. With Ripple, on the other hand, you have instant settlement, no need to forecast or park capital over weekends. So you're not waiting around for a wire to arrive 3 to 5 days. You don't need intensive resource requirements or manual overhead, and you're not paying up to 6% of your margin in costs.
Absolutely, yeah. And can you talk about some of the data compliance and security standards that maybe the Ripple Payments cross-border solution can provide?
So in payments, like security, compliance, data is absolutely critical. These are people's money, so it needs to be handled with really, really high care. In today's payment world, the standards are really different around the world. So if you're using the SWIFT system or TIPS in Europe or Fed in US, you follow a different protocol. In addition, the data that you can transfer, the richness of that data is really limited. So what you get is a bunch of closed networks that don't speak to each other, and unstructured data that's opaque. So there's a lot of manual intervention and ultimately a really poor payment experience. With ISO 20022, these problems will be solved. So ISO 20022 is a global standard for financial information exchange. This enables interoperability between different systems, straight-through processing of payments, and rich data transfer. And it'll also foster competition because it's open and flexible. At Ripple, we've been aligned with ISO 20022 from day one. We've always recognized that this is the direction of payments and it'll be better for everyone. And we were really a first mover on that front. We've also joined the standard body to help contribute to how payments will shape in the future. Going back to your point around security, Ripple is also really committed to the highest standards in safety, privacy, and security. And a testament to this is that we have our SOC 2 certification. For those not very familiar with SOC 2 reports give really valuable information about an organization's security capabilities, so each of their customers and users can have confidence in that service. Which means that anyone using Ripple's solution knows that we adhere to the most modern security and privacy standards. And in line with that, we've also received our SOC 2 Type 2 report. So not only do we have the policies and processes in place around various criteria related to security, availability, and the integrity of the system, but also that we've been doing so consistently for a period of time.
All right, I'm gonna pause it there for just a brief moment. I love what she mentioned in regards to ISO 222. It's been a while since you heard any specific ones that we talk about a lot just come out and say ISO 222. Boom, you heard it right there. Ripple, ISO 222. So again, it absolutely, I hate to use this term, but behooves me as well when I hear people like, oh, you know what? There's not a lot going on with Ripple XRP. I'm not willing to wait. I mean, really? Because here's the thing: if you compare some great innovative technologies of the past, and where they went from, let's face it, during the times of doubt, compared to like, obviously where they would blossom. Yeah, you know where I'm going with this, with like Microsoft and so on. Hear me out on this. There was a time period where so many people were speculative on Microsoft and the technologies, or Apple and so on. Again, like, why would I sell my Ripple XRP at these prices where I never given it a full chance, or not just me, but a lot of other people haven't given a full chance to actually see, again, utility in motion. You're only seeing a little bit of utility in motion. The nation of Palau, for instance, that's like their country is a test pilot. Forget the whole concept of test pilots and so on. If you understand the concept of where it's going and so on, have you given it a full opportunity, a chance to go where it needs to go? No. It's like we have to see this be fully implemented. What you referenced in regards to ISO 222, again, guys, we're not in full implementation yet. November 2025 is a little over 2 years away. So my thing is, I don't want to just see full implementation. I want to see full utility in motion. And that's where you get all that supply and demand and, crazy market caps and so on. And as people would say, that generational wealth. You got to give it a chance to complete the course of where it's going. She breaks it down pretty well. I think this is a great interview. And if anything, I do see right here that there's only about under 6 minutes left. We're going to play the rest of this because you know what? She's going to get into the financing and liquidity management side of things, and then round it off with crypto helping SMEs. Because, we always talk about, the big financial players, the big banks, the central banks of the world using Ripple. But again, what about the smaller ones, the smaller businesses, the medium-sized businesses and so on? You don't see a lot of talk about this. So again, she is head of payments products from Ripple. She's being interviewed by Austin Prey, who's a senior reporter from Payments, which is PYMNTS.com. And this is a really good interview. So hopefully you guys appreciate this. We're going to play a little bit more in regards to this. Please smash that like, and let's get back into it. Here we go.
Awesome. Yeah. And, it's never cheap to expand to a new market. Can you talk a little bit about financing and liquidity management, particularly as it relates to using crypto? How does crypto help small and medium-sized businesses expand to these new geographies, which typically involves things like foreign exchange costs, liquidity requirements, as well as other fees?
Yeah, it's never cheap. Agree with that. So financing needs is another area where SMEs are really underserved. The IFC, or International Finance Corporation, says that there's 40% of SMEs that have unmet financing needs. And it amounts to a huge amount, over $5 trillion of a gap in financing needs. And in the context of cross-border payments, to grow, there's a lot of upfront capital that's required. And that shows up in the form of pre-funded accounts that are outside the home country of that company. Also, that money may be held in a currency that's not the currency of that SME. So that exposes them to additional FX rate. Let's assume they even have the capital. They still need expertise and a strong treasury team to manage that effectively. So it's a really hard process. And if you layer in on top of that, there's certain geographies that are really hard and even more costly. And those would be countries where there's stringent capital controls or high FX costs. So it's a real barrier to growth. Blockchain eliminates these pain points by removing the need to have high upfront capital to grow. So SMEs or businesses can expand into new markets. They have a much lower burden of cash flow planning and management and tend to get better commercial terms.
Awesome. Yeah. And I mean, going back to that idea of, it's never cheap to expand into a new market. It's also, just access to capital is a primary concern for a lot of small and medium businesses, particularly in, today's environment where the cost of capital is going up, credit is tight. How does blockchain help alleviate, some of these working capital needs, and as well as, some of the bottlenecks within just access to working capital for small and medium-sized businesses?
The benefits that crypto and blockchain solutions provide ultimately reduce the working capital need. A lot of times for these companies, the working capital pain points come from a timing mismatch between when you're receiving money and when you have to pay it out. And for small companies, just a few days makes a huge difference. So for example, let's say I owe my supplier some money that's due on Monday, and that Monday happens to be a holiday in my country, a bank holiday. So Saturday, Sunday, Monday, I can't send the payment. I need to buffer another 2 to 3 days for clearing a Swift wire. So potentially I'm out that cash a full week before the invoice that's actually due. That week for small companies is huge. Using a blockchain solution like Ripple Payments, the settlement is instant without the need for pre-funding, and you don't have to worry about holidays. It's always there. So that you automatically, in that example, save 7 days of working capital, and then sometimes it can be longer. In addition, at Ripple, we offer flexible repayment terms and have pre-negotiated FX rates and payout fees, and that further supports SMEs with their cash flow needs.
Awesome. Yeah. And I mean, maybe moving a little bit beyond cross-border payments, where do you see some of the, most attractive opportunities for crypto to help small and medium-sized businesses?
The goal of crypto ultimately is to level the playing field in financial services by making sure everyone has better access, more optionality, and better pricing, inclusive, and actually especially for those that are underserved. Cross-border payments is somewhere where we've seen a lot of momentum and penetration with SMEs, but there's other use cases that range from treasury management, which means that SMEs can put their money in a crypto-powered solution and get a yield higher than they would at a savings account, to the ability to accept crypto as a form of payment, which means that you can grow your revenue by serving more customers, especially where there are underbanked consumers as well. And looking out into the future, the possibilities are really endless. There's promising solutions around real-world asset tokenization, which can smooth out supply chains and help with liquidity management, and as well as lending, where crypto pools can be used to borrow at a rate than you would with a traditional lender.
Yeah, I think that's, just a very good point to end on. Thank you so much for your time today. It was really a pleasure to discuss and learned a lot.
Thank you for having me.
All right, before we wrap things up in regards to our Ripple segment, I want to jump into this next part that comes from Link 2 or Link to. I can't pronounce it right. So this is good because you know what? I think for some people, they just, for whatever reason, want to oversimplify the concept of Ripple's XRP. At the end of the day, I mean, they do help a lot of businesses, not just, the banks of the world, be able to, not have to wait, was it 5 to 7 days you know, in regards to making a payment, you don't realize how big that is. The saying goes, time is money. So, like it's shared right here, in 2023, banks still take days for wire transfers while trillions lie dormant. Imagine unlocking that capital with Ripple's on-demand liquidity. Yeah, the ODL. Dive into the potential of our portfolio company here. Choose to do so, but it's the message that is being portrayed here. Also, part of this interview is John Deaton, and he breaks it down so well, as he always does, as John Deaton has always done. So, this is Nick Burafato. He's the director of member sales over at Linkto. Says your access to private investment. This is a very good interview. This is from August 19th. It's only 2 minutes, but this really, in my opinion, does a good job of rounding things off as far as our Ripple XRP coverage. Let's come back to reality, guys. Understand the simplicity of why Ripple's XRP is solving, a problem that's existed for, let's face it, guys, many, many, many years. We are breaking out of the old technology that's existed since the early 1970s, for crying out loud. We're in 2023. We need to break out of that old technology, right? So it's innovation is the bottom line. Don't oversimplify the whole concept of what we're doing here with Ripple's XRP. And if anything, listen to this. Smash that like, only 2 minutes on this particular one, and then we'll jump into our next segment here in a bit. Here we go.
There's a huge incentive for these financial institutions to get into gear and use ODL, because they'll be able to take all those pre-funded accounts, take all that dormant capital, as Ripple has explained over the years, and they've used numbers between 10 trillion and $27 trillion in dormant capital that financial institutions can bring home. And that means a lot to these financial institutions. So for anyone that didn't know the Nostro piece of the puzzle to this thing, this is bigger than you may have even imagined. And these banks really want to bring that money back home. So I just want to make that point, because when I speak to people every day, they have no idea that's one of the big benefits of using ODL.
Let me add this. When those banks bring home all that money, whatever trillion or billions that you're talking about, and they have that much more liquidity, what do they do with it? They give more loans. They give more loans to small businesses. They give more loans to individuals because they have the capital, and that improves, the economy outright. So it's almost tragic that it's 2023 pushing 2024 and we're still operating. I would encourage any of the new people to the community to do a wire transfer today. It still takes 5 days for me to do a wire transfer from one account to another sometimes. I did a domestic wire transfer to a client on a settlement that came in, and it was domestic, and it took 4 business days for it to end up in her account, right? So that's kind of obscene when you think about it.
Yeah. Imagine the irony for us, John, that our members wire us funds to invest in a company that can have settlement in 10 seconds or less.
There you go. That's the bottom line. Imagine it. And it's going on day by day. You always hear about some of the partners that Ripple has and so on. Yeah, they have to do just that. They have to invest in the old way of doing things when they're investing basically in a company that is solving things, which you can, have everything cleared in a matter of seconds. A matter of seconds. Got to wait 5 days or more. Absolutely absurd. I would agree with them. That concludes our Ripple XRP coverage for the night. I thought it was pretty cool to see some of those interviews and so on. If anything, I want to recognize a super chat, and it comes from, I believe, I saw it earlier. I have to scroll a little bit more down. Maybe it's a super sticker, actually, not a super chat. Excuse me, I apologize. I want to welcome Salamander, the XDC commander, while I'm scrolling down. But it comes from Robert Brewer. He says, "What up, Max? I'm going to get you your super sticker here. Second, glad to have you back, Robert Brewer." It's this one right here. Robert Brewer dropped a $5 super sticker. Thank you so much. did have a chance to see what the sticker looked like. It's a, I don't know, kind of like a turquoise looking dude. Kind of looks like what's his name, Grimace from McDonald's, but you know, kind of like more aqua color. It says keep it up. Thank you so much, Robert Brewer. Really appreciate your ongoing support of our platform here, and means a lot, man. Thank you so much. All right. Let me go further back up to where I was at. Just trying to see if there's any specific questions and so on. Let's see where it was. All right. Let's check this out. Hump not dump. XRP protects you from CBDC. You can use XRP ledger escrows as smart contracts. I think I read this at some point. Yeah, I think I read that one earlier. That's right. All right. Kat, welcome back. She says, hi all, morning Max. Glad to have you here, Kat. Thank you so much for your support, especially on the recorded content. Glad to have you. Brian Riley saying hello to Kat. You guys are saying hello to Kat. All right. Let's see here. Magic Power. Hopefully the number of holders will finally increase significantly due to massive adaptation, and reach the millions. And the lockup is really taking hold. Team has to deliver. Regards to Jasmine, yes. All right. Sony is greater than Xbox. I would agree with you on that. Or wait, I read that wrong. Xbox is greater than Sony. Will not agree with you on that. I've always liked Sony way better than Xbox. I have an Xbox Series S. It's used been like once or twice, literally. I need to sell the thing. I never use it. It's like new. All right. Let's see here. I could have sworn I saw some specific comments. What was it? All right, let's see here. Brian Dowie, JP Morgan owns XRP. Not sure about Jasmine. I just came into tune about some more knowledge in regards to what JP Morgan owns, but I'm not allowed to actually share that. And this is no BS, okay? And I'm not even allowed to tell you who my source is. I wish I could. And when the right time comes, maybe I'll be able to share that. But that's all I'm at liberty to mention at the moment. And I do have proof. But nonetheless, and for people to say that I'm speculative on my proof and so on, in the past, I have had to literally take down some things. Never mind. I guess that was too much to mention right there. All right. Jimmy Shanga says hello. I wish I could say hello. Is it me you're looking for? Lionel Richie. Shout out to Mentelect. I miss Mentelect. He's still missing since July 31st. But nonetheless, let's welcome Jimmy Changa. Jimmy Changa, one of the best names I've ever seen in crypto. Welcome. Again, consider getting a custom avatar of a chimichanga with a J on it. You know, that'd be kind of cool, man. Seriously, you know, like a chimichanga, and then you just take a branding iron and it's a big old J on it. You know, that'd be kind of cool if you want. If you don't want it, that's okay too. I mean, with the name of Jimmy Changa, I mean, like, I'm not gonna forget that. So I guess that's the point. Welcome back, Jimmy Changa. All right. What is this? Brian Dowie, rumors of Venmo making XRP available for payments. That would make sense because, you know, even on their platform, I mean, their settlement time is a few days. If they can go from, you know, settlement time of days to near instant settlement, that would be big. You know, we talked about earlier some of the companies that get swallowed up, if you will, because they didn't embrace innovation. AOL and so on. I mean, does anyone even use AOL anymore? But remember, they were a juggernaut at the turn of the century. You get where I'm going. Salamander, again, welcome back, man. Glad to have you here. Salamander, the XDC commander. Get the YouTube algorithm going. Thank you so much for doing that. All right, let's see here. You're puking on Elizabeth Warren. Gary Gensler needs to resign. You know, Mike Cornwell, you sent me something about in regards to some of those interviews about him resigning. Do you still have any of that? I wonder what happened with that. All right. I don't know. If Mike Cornwell's busy, he doesn't have to do it. But if you still have that, that'd be nice if we could share that. But anyway, people above won't let Gensler leave yet. Interesting. Magic power, the whole old financial institutions have to resign. That's true. Gensler is a puppet. Yes, he's a puppet represented by, Wall Street, basically. OG Crypto, JSS. Yes, the Jasmine Secret Service or whatever. What did you say it was? I forgot what you said it was. Anyway, all right, let's turn some banners back on for brand awareness. All right, the brand awareness that covers part of my hat. I know you guys don't think I've seen that in some videos. I review everything, man. All right, we're almost towards the bottom. Let's read a few more. Magic Power says, this is towards Brian, but read it anyway. Brian, exactly. The system is corrupt and wrong. Puppets don't matter. Brian states, as in Brian Dowie. Wholesome XRP for 2025. It's like Amazon books turning into full-blown ads. That was literally the analogy I wanted to come up with earlier. Just couldn't get it in my thought process. Great analogy. Absolutely a great analogy. If anything, somebody chop that up. Retweet that. I mean, people do know about that for the most part, but it's a great statement. I think I did use some of this a few days ago. You know what I did? I got to toot my own horn just a little bit on that one. Yes, we did talk about how, you really think that Amazon would have became what we know it to be today if Bezos and the rest of them would just have the attitude, we're satisfied with being an online bookstore, basically. We're cool with just selling, used books, old and new books, paperback, hardback, you name it. That is honestly how I used to remember Amazon for many years, probably over 10 plus years. And it wasn't until, I don't know, I want to say maybe like the early 2010s that I recognized, like, you know what? I think it was like maybe like 2013. I was still in, college at the time. And I was saying to myself, one of my classmates, she had Amazon Prime. She's talking about Amazon Prime, and I used to look at like, okay, well, what's the big deal, And she was just like, it's a big deal because for one, I get discount on my shipping, all that stuff, and then on top of that, they even have a thing like Netflix. So again, it's just like not being satisfied with, how you originally came into, the start of a business, the innovation. I think we should always pay attention to the innovators and where they go from there. Even if we're not personally invested into the likes of Amazon, you name it, it's recognizing innovation. You don't innovate, especially this time of the day and age that we're in, you will get swallowed up so fast, right? So yes, wholesome XRP for 2025. It's like Amazon books turning into full-blown Amazon, those NDAs. Yes. All right, let's read a comment from Mr. OG Crypto, Mr. Gangsta, because we haven't read anything from him. Max, what about HBAR startup news? Excuse me, no one coughed for the mic. So I don't have anything in regards to HBAR tonight, but I'll catch myself up on it. We do try to give you that, that round robin, if you will. We circulate around on certain ones. We can't cover everything in one night. Those days are just WrestleMania every single night. Sorry to say, can't continue. There's just no way I can do that anymore. Maybe like on a Friday night because, there's still work, but, let's face it, I mean, it's not as pressing, right? But, yeah, I mean, we can definitely get into some of that stuff. I mean, if I ever see juicy news about IOTA, I'm going to cover it. There's some recent news in regards to Nexera. I need to do that. Just need to catch up on some of this stuff. So anyway, let's go further down. We're going to welcome Crypto Jedi. Welcome back, man. Glad to have you. Crypto Crash, you bought more Avalanche and SHIB. Nice. All right. Robert Brewer, thank you for all your research, Max. Thank you so much. Really appreciate that, man. It means a lot to have people like yourself tune in. At the end of the day, if we don't have people tuning in, it kind of makes it hard to, especially in bearish times to cover all this stuff. So, all right. How about this one from Brian Dowie? Everyone's saying level the playing field. Yeah. Brian Dowie, as soon as the first two banks use that ODL, XRP will, that's the whole thing. Again, keep in mind, XRP where it's right now, right? We touched, into number 4 overall. Right now we're in over, number 5. I think number 4 is BNB. And that is not even, a drop in the bucket, no pun intended, because we're talking about, on demand liquidity. Yeah, Brian is right. Watch out. Because what about when it's multiple banks and not just some of like low key banks, like literally the central banks of central banks and so on, like the BIS and so on, or, well, the BIS is going to use Quant. Well, you know what? Last I checked, they're also going to use Ripple's XRP. And what about, some of these other ones that we consistently talk about? What about literally countries, recognizing, yeah, we need to use Ripple's XRP, or, even Stellar. All those ones are going to be a big, big deal. But again, for those who panic and not understand utility in motion, that's why we put so much emphasis, guys, on utility. Think about it for a second. Everything that has been flooded upon lately when it comes to all these assets, look at the greater picture of those things. It's like, I see people in the comments sometimes on recorded videos. They'll say, well, Ripple's not really moving that much, or there's a great big dump right now. You're really invested into Ripple's XRP just for the short term, for a few cents. You're not invested into it, looking at it from the perspective like this is literally, and I hate to keep using this expression, but it's a good way of looking at it, or like the way Brian was mentioning with Amazon, Microsoft, all this. You are literally investing in some of the best innovation of our time, right? Of our time. If you think about it, Ripple is literally probably a couple years behind because they were suppressed by the SEC. But now you're starting to see that shift. You're starting to see more support for it and so on. But again, utility in motion, that's the key thing. And it always will be. You can apply that to Ripple's XRP. You can apply that to Jasmy. You can apply that to Stellar. You can apply that to basically everything that has real solid utility. Why give up on the research that, of why you got into this to begin with? Again, when people do that, that's giving into your emotional, giving into opinions of others based on emotions. It's definitely not giving into the actual research. I think if people give into the actual research on all of it, then they'll come back to the conclusion of, oh yeah, that's right. I remember now why I invested into this. Because this is game changer technology. All right, we're going to read just a few more comments. We'll get back into our outline. The next part on our outline basically is it's Stellar. Stellar is going to round things off for the night, and it's a big, big update in regards to SOAR bonds. Stick around for that segment here shortly. All right, so let's read this from OG Crypto. He says, to him, XRP is going to do well. So is XLM, HBAR, and XDC, I think, will surprise everybody. Who has the most gold? That should be the Saudis. That's a good point. Humpty says, we are watching the world exchange system changing to digital. Yes. All right. I guess I got another super chat. I didn't even see that. I'm sorry about that. 8:20. Only 9 minutes. You had to wait. Sorry about that. It's from Salman, XTC Commander. Thank you so much, man. Be cool, Mr. Max. Buy XRP, XTC, XLM, Jasmy. Been there, done that. More than good on most of that. Some of them, yeah, it's basically gravy from here. XRP would be basically gravy. XLM would be gravy. XDC probably could use more XDC. Even though I hit my goals, it's honestly even that much more gravy. Jasmy have more than hit my goals, but to be honest, it's like I said, my new goal for Jasmy, and I know I'll get criticism about this, but teach us on. I have a right to express how I feel. My new goal for Jasmy is 3 million Jasmy. I have a strategy in regards to that, and I want to stick with that. And if anything, I might even be that much more bullish and just go for 4 million. I know that sounds crazy, because I might get to the point where I say to myself, should I now put some of this where I keep it almost literally forever? I know that sounds absolutely crazy on some of the stuff, but there's some assets that I'm choosing to keep for darn near forever. And because the way I look at it is, after all the clarity that we'll eventually get to, and I know that seems like, so for some people are like, man, that sounds like pie in the sky. I know it. I've been there. I know where you're coming from. But my thing is this, right? Like when I talk about my goals for 200 QNT and stuff like that, I look at it from the perspective 200 QNT at 50,000 a QNT. I know some people are like, oh my God, this is Max with his moon talk. This is Max with his crazy talk. Hear me out. Okay. So the way I look at it is earning yields, APR, right, on some of this stuff, even at 5%. We talk about passive income, $500,000 just off of that one asset in the future. Yeah, that's why I'm thinking to myself, I don't know if I really ever want to sell my QNT. I don't want to sell my XRP and some of these other ones, XLM and so on. But Jasmine would be one in which I have a plan in which I take profits, but depending on, obviously the $1 mark is huge for Jasmine, right? I think when we get to a minimum on that. But do I really want to cash out all my bags? And what I mean by that is literally just that. By splitting up, you guys know what I'm talking about. Some of you guys do, some of you guys don't. Splitting up your bags in which you don't just sell the whole bag depends on the position you have on the bag. If your goal is, I'm cool with 100,000 Jasmine and I'm going to move on, okay, fine. You got to do what you got to do. And if you're taking profits at $1, right? Well, basically speaking, I mean, if you have 100,000 Jasmine, you're looking at, for instance, at $1, well, it's no brainer. It's $100,000. That to me is not generational wealth. I'm not complaining about it, but I got to have a plan. And for me, my plan is I got to get more of that. And I know it sounds crazy, but I'm also looking at the perspective of, I think we obviously get to some of these goals, not just for, Jasmine and so on, but literally everything you have tagged here. I'm glad you pointed out some of these things. So by all means, guys, all you guys be cool as well with your decisions. Don't give into the motions so much. It's so easily to do so, and then you regret it later. But yeah, I am looking more to hop on the gravy train, if you will. And thank you for the 589 super chat, Mr. Salamander. All right, going further down, we have another super chat that came through. I will read this real quick, though. I think this is pretty good. I still use AOL for free. Really? Interesting. Anything new on LEOX? Not really. I'll have to look into that. Legrand commission, another red day, another chance to accumulate. Love your new avatar, Legrand. Looks cool, man. Oui, merci beaucoup. All right. Crypto Jedi, $10 super chat. He's loading up on Energy Web Token every payday. Nice. That is one I still need to get, but I want to check some of the recent prices. I know there's lots of, distressed prices, right? Or pullbacks in prices. ICP is another one. But yeah, we got to get Tokenizer back on the show. In my opinion, he is the go of research when it comes to just, consistently covering a whole library of utility-driven cryptos. There's other great researchers, Crypto Hulk, Louis Jackson, you name it. Zach Rector, obviously, who specifically, focus on like maybe Stellar or especially XRP and stuff like that. But what I love about Tokenizer, I mean, he consistently covers like, oh God, it was over 30 of them and so on. But his number 2 pick is Energy Web Token after Quant. Like, that says something. You know what I mean? That really says something. So shout out to you. Thank you so much for the $10 super chat. Let me just double check the other screen. See how we're doing on comments and all that good stuff. I think we're doing pretty good. All right. Yes, everybody's saying hello to Legrand. But yeah, thank you again for the $10 super chat, Crypto Jedi. It's Legrand Commission. Oui, merci beaucoup. Look at that custom avatar. Nice looking. All right, we ticked up and back into the 50s. This is good because you want to know something? This means that people want to hear the Stellar segment. And let's jump into it in a little bit. Speaking of Stellar, OG Crypto says he sold XRP for Jasmine. Hard decision. Brian Dowie says he swapped everything for XRP and XLM. You can wait it out. Ballpark on how high XRP and XLM can go. I mean, I've stated that numerous times. I feel as though XRP eventually is 10K in XRP. Some people believe that. Some people don't. It's okay. I think Stellar is not that far from it. I think they basically darn near run together for the most part. All right, we're going to get into their outline. I will read that. Vaseline Boomer. All right, let's jump into our Stellar segment. Some big news in regards to Stellar XLM. Please smash that like if you haven't done so already. And if anything, remember I promised you guys anything in regards to Sorbonne, we want to make sure we bring you that content because Sorbonne is a big deal. Let's see how we're doing on the likes real quick. We're at 69 likes. Please smash the like, especially for some Stellar XLM and Sorbonne, right? All right, let's jump into the last part of our coverage for tonight. We're now at the 2 hour 20 mark. Let's get into it. So Sorbonne, right? What is this all about? Well, here it is. And this was reported straight from Stellar. It was posted when, well, it's actually posted today. It says, basically speaking, built in the open. That's what we like to see. At J Rice tweets, expands on what it took to get Sorbonne official to where it is today. Reported 10 hours ago. What is this all about? Well, like it says, Sorbonne is feature complete. There you go, feature complete. Awesome. Amazing how much came together in a year and how many projects are alive and kicking. To all you devs, been hacking away through 10 preview releases. Please, of course, thank you. Let's jump into what this is all about. So here it is. And like I said, it's feature complete. This was reported earlier today. It comes from Justin Rice. But I'm going to give you a little gist of what's going on with this. So about a year ago, preview release 1 was introduced to the world from Sorbonne. And basically speaking, it says since then, there's been a steady drumbeat of successive, I should say, preview releases marking progress in the march towards the mainnet launch. Remember, for all those people who are not in tune with Sorbonne, you got to keep in mind it was testnet for the longest time. In the past 3 months alone, if you were not aware of it, some of the most crucial design decisions were implemented. Now, of course, there's the preview of release 9, and that came out in May. It basically introduced a fee structure fine-tuned, and I love how this is stated, fine-tuned. If anything we learned from Stellar is that they put emphasis on these quality projects. But how about a quality smart contract? Right? You got to keep in mind, this is a premier smart contract platform for Stellar. And like we mentioned before in our other coverage, 70 projects literally being involved in this. And to go live at once, that's a pretty big deal. When we talk about price shock, that's going to shock the darn world. All right. So there's more to this. There's preview release 10. What was that? They came out in July last month. It introduced a novel approach to data storage. Here at CTN, we always talk about data-related projects, do we not? We talk about Filecoin. We talk about especially Jasmy. We talk about some of these other projects, IOTA. Heck, we talk about, technically speaking, you can include, Casper in the bunch. We could go on and on, right? But the thing is, like it says, solves what? Unbounded state growth. And at this point, Sorbonne has all of its core functionality in place. It is, in other words, feature complete. Yes, feature complete. This is a big, big deal. So let's get more into this. They still got work to be done in regards to auditing and hardening the code, but that's to be expected, right? The fine tuning. So it's been developed in public, and that's cool, right? We talk about the whole concept of is open source and stuff like that. Speaking of which, let's talk about the code. They said that they went ahead and they tinkered around, they built and basically got this code in public. Every design doc is in public. Every important development decision is in public. That's transparency all the way. That's what you want to hear from a good, solid project. So we get further into this. It goes on to mention that, this was built in parallel with key ecosystem projects. And again, guys, this is where I want you to pay attention to this. Key ecosystem projects. What have we learned for at least probably a couple years now or more when it comes to the concepts of having a thriving ecosystem? Again, what we learned is we need thriving ecosystems because it helps contribute to the overall bigger picture of things. All you need is a great standout project, and things can be really, really big because if anything, it incentivizes other platforms, or maybe, for instance, and this is a good analogy, other devs from, for instance, Ethereum, leaving that platform to go build on one that makes more sense, that's more in tune with innovation, right? Leaving behind the old technologies because they need to be left behind, because for some of those businesses, it's just costing them too much money, especially when it comes to gas fees. So, in addition, because Sorbonne has been built in the open, and because ecosystem devs have been hacking away throughout all 10 preview releases, something else remarkable has happened, and here is the juicy stuff. A viable ecosystem of smart contract projects has come together alongside the platform itself. At this moment, and again, I wasn't making this up, there are over 70 projects building in the Sorbonne sandbox that I should say, this guy, what's his name, Justin, personally know about. And there are likely many more that he doesn't. Many of those projects create fundamental building blocks that stack together to allow for the creation of end-to-end use cases. And a lot of them will be ready for around mainnet launch. That's great. Now, what is that? Like, what would that be around mainnet? Well, this is good. This is the juicy stuff. Oracles, indexers, block explorers, and data analytic tools, developer tools, including IDEs, SDKs, which means software development kits, and RPC services, DAOs, and the tools to build DAOs. You guys that are really big proponents of Cosmos, you already know what I'm talking about. Yeah. How about applying that to Stellar, for crying out loud? That is a big deal. DeFi primitives like AMMs, automated market makers, right? And lending and borrowing protocols. Again, that's supply and demand. You have to build the tools necessary in order to achieve demand. Everything is coming in place for Stellar, is it not? And wallets that range from general purpose transaction signers to bespoke interfaces. Now, in regards to some of these categories, there's several others, but the ones that actually have multiple projects building on Sorbonne, this basically means that the fundamentals for a robust ecosystem are in place. I mean, come on, guys. Why is Sorbonne not getting enough press? Well, if anything, here at CTN, we're trying to get it out there, right? Trying to keep you guys in the loop of why this is a big deal, right? Robust ecosystem are in place, in duplicate, triplicate, sometimes even quadruplicate. That's a crazy statement. If you are a dev, which most of you guys aren't, let's be honest, but this is good. You don't need to wait for building blocks to get started. Hear how, now is the time to get involved in it. And I love how they basically, give their spiel or their pitch. And the pitch is so great because they keep it, they keep other devs in mind of what they've gone through and so on. You want to create a platform that makes it very easy for devs to jump ship. Let's just call it what it is, to jump to their platform. Again, that is, you may not think this is a big deal. It's an absolutely big deal because if you get more and more projects to come on board, you have just that, a thriving ecosystem, because you are attracting devs. You got to keep in mind, sometimes we just need to put in layman's terms and so on and simplify things. I might not be the biggest fan of Google, but I can recognize that one point back in the mid 2000s, early 2000s and so on, and maybe even yet to this day, Google does a good job of attracting people to their company because they have incentives and all sorts of things, work environment and whatnot. If you cut the politics out of it, it sounds very lucrative. Well, what about a platform in regards to blockchain that sounds very lucrative and very easy to build on that particular blockchain? This is one thing that we're very consistent on. And that is, here at CTN, we talk about like Quant with Overledger, 3 lines of code. Well, yes, we got to get credit where credit's due. This is in regards to Stellar's Sorbonne. And one of the key things that has something in common is the idea of having devs being able to easily build on the platform. That's the whole point. Sharing preview releases also meant that people had hands-on bleeding edge code, and there will still be sharp edges to sand down. Look what it says. Please test Sorbonne out. The docs encourage. See what you can do. Let us know what you think. So if anything, you are allowing these devs to try out the product, right? That's big in itself. They don't have to, and this is no bash on Quant, because I love Quant, right? But they don't have to be in a situation where they got to take on the risk of like, okay, I got to pay for this annual license fee. They can literally come out, test this out for themselves, and see how easy it is to build on Stellar. And if anything, from what I've gathered and what I've seen, is that they're saying, you know what, I like this platform. And we've already seen ETH devs where like, I like this platform. I want to continue to build on this platform. Again, guys, these devs talk to other devs that they used to be teamed up with and so on. The word will spread like wildfire. And again, all we need is just like a couple or a handful, if that, of really good projects on this platform. And again, we already know about the whole concept of Stellar when it comes to cross-border payments, but jumping into another realm of a thriving ecosystem, metaverse, you name it, right? That's a big deal. We talk about supply shock, price shock. You're going to see some big shock. You may not see it now with everything looking so bearish. But again, keep in mind, if you haven't reached your goals in regards to accumulation, again, understanding the research, right? Keep in mind, like it says, a lot will change between now and the production release. So expect your code to break and prepare updates to shift things. But again, updates, right? The whole reason of having hackathons and so on is to just see if there's any vulnerabilities and so on. I would expect this from a premier standout project like Stellar. Going more into this preview release, 10 proves especially challenging because it introduced state expiration, new concept for most, if not all, blockchain developers. Ledger entries don't persistent indefinitely. They can expire. For the first time, devs were required to specify the time of storage their contract's use. And because FutureNet was initially configured with a 6-hour expiration, pretty much everyone building on Sorbonne had to figure out how to bump ledger entries and keep them from expiring. Here's the thing. I know this sounds all technical. The key thing is this: giving devs crap moments to work on. I like that. I don't like the idea of any platform, trying to, say, oh, well, we'll cross that line later on. No, you cross that line freaking now, because you want to know something? There's people, our money is being invested into some of this. They already thought out all this. That's the bottom line. All right. Like it says, now we're closing on a stable release candidate and focus on developer experience. Again, the experience. If the dev has a great experience with the platform and can highly recommend it to other devs and so on, again, that's a beautiful, harmonious type thing. I'm going to get further down into this. The road to mainnet. I want to talk about this for a brief moment, because this is where we care about some of this stuff as investors. So this road to mainnet says there was a virtual hackathon that was designed to give devs structure to learn the basics and build Sorbonne dApps. And again, keep in mind this, guys, dApps are going to be so huge, especially at the end of this year. You're going to start to see at the end of this year some key dApps. Well, what about some key decentralized apps built on Stellar, right? Especially with Sorbonne. Again, keep in mind, Sorbonne is the key to those smart contracts. You can't have dApps without what? Smart contracts. So again, the two go hand in hand. It's an opportunity to work alongside a vibrant community for devs and to quickly allow them to create code and ship a project, and it's open to all devs, all levels of experience. And again, this is another very attractive thing for this. Now, for some of you guys that don't quite get this all the way, you got to keep in mind, devs are fundamental as much as, having a thriving operating system for, Quant's Overledger, for instance. Again, you got to have devs to make that happen. So it talks about this whole thing about, if a dev wants to reach out, they can. But my key thing is, this is a big deal because you got to keep in mind this feature is complete. where do we go from here? Well, where we go from here is mainnet. And basically speaking, going to mainnet will be a big deal. Will we start seeing any previews by the end of the year in regards to some of these dApps? I think that's a possibility. But my thing is this, right? If you are a person that's always believed in, for instance, Cardano and understanding the quality and how long it takes to build, well, my thing is this is Stellar that we're talking about. And if anything, they are allowing devs to not only build a quality project on their platform through Sorbonne, but it's not just a couple. Like I mentioned, it's over 70. And their mission is to get 70 of these to go live. Guys, I'm just telling you flat out, let this resonate in your head for a second, right? You're going to see some big news probably by the end of the year, and a lot of outlets are going to report this. And it's going to basically say in the headlines, and I hate to do this, but I'm going to be real about this because it's reality. The headline will go something like this: 70 projects live on Sorbonne, and that will be all over everything. You'll see a lot of outlets talking about this. You name it, live shows, people doing recorded videos on it. Like, whoa, what the hell was this? Yeah, what the heck was this? Is because this is something that's flying under the radar. I don't know why it's flying under the radar. Sorbonne is a really, really big deal, because if anything, when we talk about any of this stuff, I mean, you got to have a key proponent of a smart contract to get you those dApps and so on. You want multiple dApps, you got to have multiple devs. You want multiple devs, you got to have the devs to have an easy platform to build on. And if anything, not just have them focus on one particular project, but multiple devs, whether it's from the metaverse, whether it's from a medical field, you name it. It could be anything, everything, right? Even, video games, you name it, right? But each one bringing something to contribute to that ecosystem. Price shock is imminent. That's the bottom line. All right. That's it in regards to our stellar coverage. Please smash that like. Let me kick it back into the comments. I really appreciate every one of you guys who is here tonight consistently for some of our coverage here at Crypto Talk Now. All right, let's see here what we have. I'm going to get into a few more comments. Legrand has been into XRP since 2019. So if anything, I didn't see you panic selling and letting your emotions get ahead of you. You've known about the research and so on. You had all the reasons to sell with the SEC thing and so on. There you go. Legrand's a perfect example of a person that knows the research and has been through weathering the storms. I mean, I came into crypto early 2021. I don't count 2016 with BTC. I just don't. I count when I got heavily invested into altcoins, and that was early 2021. So my thing is, there you go, Legrand, right? But we will all eventually see the next bull market. None of us have seen a utility run. That's something that we will all share together. And that is going to be incredibly awesome. Talking about generational wealth, that's where it's at. All right. Let's read a few more. Boomer F and Sooner, the one and only Boomer F and Sooner. So we looking at about $10 in XRP, $10 XLM, $17 Jasmine. Why are you footing on the XRP and the XLM? All right, that's okay. In reality, I'm not really complaining about any of that. I mean, those are big jumps compared to where we're at. So I guess we can read on that. All right. Let me double check the other screen. See how we're doing. I think we're doing pretty good. Max has sent you a nugget on X about XRP. I think somebody else sent me some stuff as well. I think maybe it was Coochie Boy. Let me see. Got some DMs. Yeah. All right. Well, I'll do yours first and I'll get in the Coochie Boys. How about that? All right. So here's some bonus coverage from you guys from the community. Let's jump into it for a brief moment. This comes from the one and only La Grande Commission. Oui, oui. Merci beaucoup. Stop doing that, Max. He's not French. Again, you don't understand. Been doing this forever. All right. Ripple reveals 8 countries building CBDCs on XRP Ledger. Ooh, what's this all about? Reported yesterday, May 2023, Ripple XRP announced a new venture in the realm of digital finance, the launch of central bank digital currency platform. Goes from further down into this. Hold on a second. We're utilizing Ripple's advanced tech. Let's check this out for a second. And building upon their earlier private ledger project, this platform harnesses the power of XRP Ledger, XRPL, I should say, to pave the way for new era customizable and efficient CBDCs. Impressively, even though the new ledger has launched just 3 months ago, over 8 countries have already built or have already been building CBDCs on the XRP ledger. That's good to know. These include, here's where you guys were talking about Russia. You didn't know for sure. These do include Russia, Republic of Palau. So there's your answer right there in regards to Russia. We already knew about the Republic of Palau the last few weeks. Montenegro, Japan, the United Arab Emirates, Uruguay, New Zealand, and Hong Kong. There's the whole list in regards to XRPL. And over 15% of all countries may use XRPL as CBDC platform. James Wallace, who's the vice president of central bank engagements and CBDCs at Ripple, said the blockchain company is in talks with more than 30 countries to adopt XRPL powered CBDC platform. At the time, Wallace said Ripple publicly announced partnerships with 5 central banks, while 5 were not disclosed to the public yet. In addition, Ripple was in conversation with 20 more countries to offer them as private or public XRP ledger as a base for developing CBDCs. Interesting. Given that there are a total of 195 countries in the world, this suggests that more than 15% of the global nations are considering using Ripple's tech for using CBDCs. Okay. And then what happens when you have full implementation of that, the utility in motion? You know where we're going with this. Of course, we know about XRP's role, but that's a big deal, guys. And I'm glad to share it. Thank you to CTN sideline reporter, Mr. Le Grand Commission. Oui. All right. We're going to check out Coochie Boy's link. This is from 2 hours ago. I don't even know if he's watching right now. Sorry about that, Coochie Boy. Should have got this primed and ready to go earlier. Let's go ahead and get into it. I'll give him a little dab. Let's jump into this. Share this tab instead. This comes from Crypto News Flash. On this one, Ripple BRICS introduces multi-currency digital international payments system. Will it use XRP and send the price to $5? Wow. Reported today. So again, shout out to another sideline reporter, Coochie Boy. So BRICS countries now contribute to almost a third of global GDP, surpassing the G7's economic influence. And some people say that in itself, that's the writing on the wall. You know, that's bad, real bad. Over 40 nations, including key G20 members, have expressed interest in joining BRICS, highlighting its expanding geopolitical weight. More than just an acronym, they introduced the world in regards to, or Goldman Sachs economists introduced to the world, BRIC of the BRICS, pinpointing Brazil, Russia, India, and China emerging economic titans. How about dethroning the G7? Economic supremacy. Historically, the G7 has seen or was seen as the economic powerhouse they have been, or they were. However, fast forward to 2023, BRICS countries collectively account for nearly a third of the global GDP, with projections indicating China and India alone could generate half of global growth this year. The evidence doesn't stop there. China's trade influence has grown exponentially, now being the top trading partner for 8 of the world's top 10 economies. Such advancements have shifted the global economic landscape. The G7, once commanding over 45% of global trade in 1992, saw their share dwindle to approximately 30% in 2022. In stark contrast, BRICS surged from a mere 16 to almost 32% within the same time frame, and that's obviously alarming. Economic might translates to geopolitical influence. More about this. Key BRICS players like China and India have emerged as major importers of Russian oil. You guys are always paying attention to this stuff, are you not? Despite economic constraints, Russia's projected economic growth remains positive at 1.5% for 2023, a testament to the strength of the BRICS alliance. Additionally, BRICS' resilience against Western sanctions has elevated its standing among developing nations. Many now view BRICS as a beacon of multilateralism, superseding the once prominent non-alignment movement. And of course, the evolution going beyond the dollar. How about this real quick? BRICS growing momentum for increased use of local currencies, bilateral trade. China and India, despite differing security interests, are finding common ground in this realm. India notably made a historic move by settling its first oil payment. Think about this, guys, to the UAE as in United Arab Emirates in rupees. Right, not US dollars. So there's big threats, right? We're seeing shifts going on. That's the bottom line. So anyway, thought I'd share that with you guys as well. And if anything, I'm going to read a few more comments. All right, let me see here. Close out some of this stuff. All right. So Crypto Jedi says Energy Web token has a low supply. You can feel that it can go to $100 easily. That'd be big, man. That's not too bad. I mean, if you think about it, it's not quite 100x, but I mean, not too far from it, right? All right. Orwell was based 33. Energy Web indeed. Polkadot crowd loan for EWX details this week. And that simply makes sense with Polkadot being a layer 0. Boomer F and Sooner, 10,000 XRP. Wow, that would be nice. Yes, it would be. It sounds nuts, but that's just the way I look at it. I mean, hold long enough for any of this stuff, I should say any of this stuff, but especially when it comes to that. There's a reason why XRP is still tied for my number one with QNT. Big on both of those, obviously. And then Stellar is a close second for me. Then XDC. Then we have Jasmine, HBAR, right? Those are my top 5. OG Crypto, the banks won't give anybody ish because, what does it say? AI is going to take all the jobs away. They're just going to invest into crypto probably. Well, it's not, in my opinion, it's not just probably. You see a lot of the new, I don't know, you see a lot of them kind of like doing things in the background. And then later on, things that were reported years ago, you get new reports. I mean, who's doing this as we speak? I think he has a show about it right now. Crypto Hulk, right? All right, let's go further down. A few more comments. Did $10,000 XRP crazy? Like $17 Jasmine, but higher chance XRP get to that number. All right, it's okay. Let's see here. Jasmine at 50 cents should be happy. I think a lot of people will be happy about that. All right. How about this? Brian Dowie, US dollar is done. Absolutely done. XRP will bridge the East and West, in his opinion. Not financial advice. It's all good. All right. Let's welcome back T. Wildman. Welcome back. Welcome back. Did anybody say market maker? Yeah, you and your market maker. Anyway. How about Boomer F and Sooner? Doge is a fish out of water waiting for Elon tweet to be revived for about 10 minutes and then dump. Yeah, it always seems that way, don't it? Dingy. Some people of the X platform really believe the payment will use Doge, laughing every time. Wake up, fanatics. Yeah, but you never know, man. I mean, a lot of people never took Doge really seriously back in the world. Is it 2016 and so on? Look how that went in 2021. I mean, there was a lot of hype. Could we possibly get that type of hype again? And I'm not talking about now when things look bearish. I'm talking about when things look obviously, bullish again. In a real true bull market, you say what you want. This is why I still keep some Doge. And I don't talk about Doge a lot, but that's just the way I look at it. I keep it like on a reserve just in case. You know what I mean? Like it's not. I don't know what it is. I think basically my rule of thumb was I originally bought 30,000 Doge for a penny. Then of course, took my profits. I mean, if it wasn't for Doge, I wouldn't be here. And then I said, you know what? I'm not going to go crazy with it. Like, I'm not going to buy 100,000 of them or anything. I was just like, I'll buy another 30, got in at 30,000 of them. I'll buy another 30,000. I'm good with that. And for that one, it's a long-term hold until I see some key things. I'm cool with that, All right. Can people still buy Tesla with Dogecoin? I don't know. I'll have to look into that. Sorry, bad joke. I don't know what you're talking about. That's okay. You can joke around. Jasmine will be used by Autobots. No, man. They're going to be used by the Decepticons. Come on, man. The smart cities. The 15-minute cities and stuff. No, I'm kidding. That sounds bad. That's a bad joke. You want to talk about a bad joke? That's a bad joke. Dingy. Daniel. I got to say it like that. Daniel. Because you always on crypto Twitter is Daniel. Cardano made him want to get crypto, and it's the only project you hate that you have. We both had that in common. I shouldn't say it was the only one or whatever. It didn't make me want to get into crypto, but it is one project that I have a lot of that I hate that I have, because I could have bought more of. I could have used that money to get into achieve my goals with some other stuff, but it's fun. It's a long, extremely boring long-term hold for me. All right. Humpty states he believes that MasterCard already built their system of XLM with MoneyGram. All right. MasterCard and Visa are adapting the new technologies. I think somebody, was it Elon Musk? Muff, I should say. Mike Cornwell tagging me about MasterCard. Let me see. Do we have some tags? Crypto Mike with some tags. Yes. All right. Well, we'll share some of this stuff. It wasn't MasterCard, but I think earlier you sent me a tweet about MasterCard, Mr. Mike Cornwell. Well, the show's almost 3 hours long. Oh my God. I didn't want this to go that long. I'm gonna have to remember this in the future just to shut it off when I need to. But we can get more into it. That's all right. Here it is from Mr. Elon Muff, Mike Cornwell. Let's share this. All right. Here's what we're talking about earlier in regards to Gary Gensler. CNN Politics. Gary Gensler. Let's blow this up more. Can I make that bigger? Yeah, I can. It's from CNN Politics. This was dated August 18th. Gary Gensler resigned for alleged fraud and lawsuit during office. Okay. Did anything materialize with this? Because I didn't see anything that did. How this other one? All right. New York Times this time. The SEC chairman is likely to be investigated by the Department of Justice for personal abuse of authority that adversely affects the organization. Don't have a date on that, but that's all right. What's the other one? Let's get into this one as well. There's a high probability that the SEC appeal will be dismissed because the relevant evidence is not clear enough. August 18th. A little bit more. Who was that from? Forbes, I think. How about this last one? This comes from CNN Business. Why reference any of this, Max? Fake news. All right, well, just don't shoot the messenger here, right? Ripple XRP is having a cash flow of about 1.56 billion flowing in after the last decline, August 18th. So there you have it. All right. Let's see what else we got left on the list. Going to retweet that. All right. Let's see here. Brian Riley, come get your education on with DPG Maximus the game. Thanks, Brian Riley. You rock, man. Thank you. All right. I'm just trying to see if there's any more tags or anything like that. Not really. All right. I'm going to share this because I think it was on, maybe he sent it to me on Facebook. Let's see. I could have sworn you had something earlier, Mike, in regards to XRP. XRP. Hold on a second. Let me pull it up. Yeah, keep in mind, guys, this is towards the end of the show. Oh man, where's Mike Cornwell on this thing? There we go. 19 minutes ago. Real by Jordan. That's not the one. Here, I found it. Yes. This is from CTN Sideline Reporter, Mr. Mike Cornwell. Lionel Richie. No, I don't know. I felt like saying Lionel Richie. Anyway. All right, let's share this. Smash the like. This is going to be the last bit of what we have, guys. It's just some bonus coverage. So, I know we talked a lot about Ripple XRP tonight, but why not? I mean, you know, if you're bullish on Ripple's XRP, why wouldn't you want to pay attention to some of the stuff? MasterCard forms CBDC partner program with Ripple. August 18th. This is from Elon Musk earlier. MasterCard's new program aims to bring together key industry players to explore CBDC innovation with initial partners including Ripple, Consensus, and Fireblocks. Global payment giant MasterCard is forming a central bank digital currency program with initial partners including Ripple and blockchain dev firm Consensus. MasterCard announced Thursday that is convening a group of blockchain and payment service providers to participate in the program. The CBDC program is designed to foster collaboration with key players in the space. Raj Damodaran, MasterCard's head of digital assets and blockchain. Sorry, I shouldn't say that. Here's a quote. We believe in payment choice and that interoperability across the different ways of making payments is essential to component of a flourishing economy. Oh, interesting. All right. The initial partners of the program include Ripple, Consensus, Fireblocks, Fluency, a tokenized assets service provider. Again, what's the key thing here, though, guys? You know, Larry Fink was talking big time about tokenized assets and how huge it's going to be by 2030. For some of you guys, you're like, by 2030, Max, I can't wait to 2030. Right. But if anything, the key thing is, you know, taking some massive profits in 2025 and then maybe still holding some of this stuff while it's at dirt cheap prices, maybe till then. I thought about a lot of this stuff. That's why I don't want to necessarily sell all of it. Like, there's going to be some that just don't sell. But you know what? Not financial advice. I'm telling you what to do. All right, MasterCard. CBDC is still in its early stages, though. Damodaran told The Block in a podcast interview published this month that if government wants to build a CBDC and wants it to be available to businesses and consumers to use, here's a quote from him, you need to have day and one flexibility to build it into terms of production, consumer protection, and privacy. While MasterCard did not detail its plan for the new program, the payment giant noted that CBDCs shouldn't be adopted in a vacuum, and the work of its CBDC partner program will help central banks understand how to develop a CBDC that adds something new to and valuable to the economy. All right, true. As early as September 2020, MasterCard launched a testing platform for central banks to evaluate CBDC systems. In February 2021, the company started to issue prepaid cards in the Bahamas, allowing users to convert the sand dollar, the country's CBDC. The sand dollar, really? And people want to give me crap about doing a voice? I'm just saying. Anyway. All right, so there you go. That comes from The Block, and pretty interesting, right? Especially when it comes to MasterCard. All right, let's read the last bit of comments before we close things out. And yeah, let's see what we got. All right, Dingy, MasterCard and Visa are adapting the new technologies. We just talked about MasterCard. That's good stuff. XLM, Crypto Jedi, Shabarium had a bad start. I was hoping to sell his bone. You were hoping to sell your bone, but you hold it until it hits 100. You hope. BNB prices. Brian Dowie, Humpty, I agree. XRP was with MoneyGram before the lawsuit, then switched to XLM. I'm going to go back to this comment for a second. Here's the thing. All right. I want to state this for anybody who is down in the dumps about Shibarium and so on. Okay. And maybe you guys get tired of me talking about this, but I just want to be a realist about this. If I am understanding about the bigger picture about Ripple's XRP, Stellar's XLM, Quant, all of this stuff, right? Utility in motion, then I can apply that way of thinking to even Shibarium. And what I mean by that is Shiba Inu's premier metaverse platform. And it's supposed to be a really fine, polished, AAA style, the Shibbers, if you will, metaverse platform, right? Supposedly might be the number one used platform for all of metaverse. Okay. Not the one that, the only one used, but probably going to be the most popular one. Right. So is that done? No, it's not done. And is there thousands, not even thousands, but is there millions of people using that platform yet? No. So my thing is, even though that there's a launch with Shibarium, this is not utility in motion. Wait till you have utility in motion. Like you said, you're going to wait until you hold it until $100. Again, there's nothing wrong with doing that. A lot of this is just simply waiting and holding on to all this stuff. All right. I already brought that up. Brian Dowie, Legrand commission. Sometimes you had to say Vaseline so Max reads your comments. God. That's unbelievable. But anyway, not really unbelievable, Max. You just said it. Hump, not dump. The way he sees it, MasterCard and money will be competing against Visa and Western Union. And that's funny you mention that because it's kind of like competing against Stellar. I don't know. All right. 20 or 100. Hold on a second. $100 bone is only a 23 billion market cap. Very possible. That's a good point. Thanks for sharing, Max. You're very welcome. Let's go further down. Look at all these comments about Vaseline. Look at this. Look at this. Or Caroline. Boomer F. XLM will follow XRP like Calvin follows Caroline. Brian Dowie, Vaseline Boomer. Boomer F. and Sooner, Vaseline Brian. Hump not dump. I don't want Vaseline. My God. All right. Then Brian Dowie, Humpty, no Vaseline. Boomer F. and Sooner, go and drive. Brave, but not a boy. Okay. All right. This is getting good. Definitely not getting juicy, but getting good. Brian Allen, no more petrodollar when they join the BRICS. Yeah. All right. Legrand says he still regrets selling all his ETH back in 2020 for 300. Yeah, I get you. But you know what? You live, you learn. You live, you learn, my friend. You hope it's real. You came across it. That's all right. All right. Let's see. Brian Dowie says SEC asked for permission to appeal. Doesn't mean they will win the appeal. The Grand Commission states, good night. Good night, everyone. I am going to take a break for a appeal for my allergies and go to bed. Great show, Max. Like always, merci beaucoup. He doesn't sound like that, guys, but I just like to say it like that. I know what he sounds like. All right. Have a great night, Legrand. You probably already left, though. See how I'm doing on time. That was 8 minutes ago. Adios, Legrand. Yes. All right. Hump, not dump. What does he state? With his daughter flipping somebody off. Rumor has it that we are going to drop hard to 3% core inflation and crash into the 1.9%. Doom and gloom. All right. Hump not dump, bro. The 1 month yield. All right, hold on. What do you guys got here? Hold on a second. Let's go further down. Daihe Freelance. You just got to point out, do your own research with Max is a contradiction in terms. Okay. How's a contradiction in terms? You don't feel like you're doing your research with me? All right. Boomer F and Sooner might be a few drops of Vaseline on the couch. Vaya con Dios. All right. All right. I'm gonna double check a couple things. How long ago did you actually ask that or state that? 9/19. Can you do a follow-up in regards to that? I'd be kind of interested, but you don't have to. All right. We're gonna just double check a few key things off of what is it called? Coin Market Cap. We have dropped even more. Check this out, guys. Look at this. We are at 1.04 trillion. We are at 1.05 earlier. Do you not see that? That's crazy. Absolutely crazy. Is anything pumping? Sweet. Shiba Inu is starting to do something. 7-day chart. Nothing too big. How about my watch list? 1 hour. Moonwell Apollo. Okay. Rocket X. Interesting. Oh, isn't that convenient? Well, the rest of the market is not doing well. Saitama out of nowhere is pumping 2.6160%. I shouldn't even say that's pumping. That's not doing crap if you think about it. All right. Huh. All right. 7-day chart. Soul Seal up 111%. XXI Gaming Stratos. Man, doing pretty decent. All right. What's crashing on the 7-day chart? Havoc, Lattice token. Relio down to 21 cents. Still up way more than what Mike Cornwell paid for it, around 8 cents. Shiba Doge down 30%. Ordinals way down. 377. Ooh, it's a good price. Leo X is at 25 cents. Flux is at 31 cents. My God. Interesting. There you go, Mr. Market Maker, Mr. Badir. Metis Dow, $12. 11.96. ApeCoin, $1.50. My God. IoTex, that's a buy. 0.014. Huh. What else we got up in here? Pancake Swap at $1.25. My God. Can you imagine buying cake at under $1? That might be one I'd have to pay close attention to. Telcoin. Interesting. That one's dirt cheap right now. You can buy it for under a penny. Huh. The graph is a buy at under 10 cents. Chainlink is cheap, 614. I'm just going through this real quick, guys. We're going to wrap it up. Moonbeam Glimmer is really under 20 cents. My goodness. Huh. Excuse me. Should have muted that, but we're at the end of the show anyway. What else stands out? XX Network, Tim Shea's one of the ones that he's into. Will that break below 10 cents? That might be a buy. Filecoin is dirt cheap right now. We've seen BSV cheaper than $30. We've seen that low as 25. Cadena, 45 cents. Not bad. My buddy's into Kava, 69 cents. Badir, are you still into Samo with your meme tokens? It's cheap. Cello, 42 cents. Huh. I'm just going through some ones that kind of stand out real quick. Tezos. I still need to get some Tezos. I need to get Near. I need to get Tezos. And there's another one. What was the other one I need to get? Near, Tezos, and shoot, I forgot. I need to get some Clayton. Aptos at 589 is a steal. Just pointing some things out. Man, proof of liquidity. 0.008776. That is an absolute steal, in my opinion. All right. We could be here forever, obviously. there anything else that stands out? Maybe, well, I was going to say LCX, but I'll say this. DAP Radar, if you guys use crypto.com app, I'm not kidding, man. Probably like once every 4 to 5 months, that one just pumps like crazy. Look more into it. I'm not joking. Look at the chart on that. We're not going to go into that right now, but ALI does pretty well, especially, that's one you could also get on crypto.com app. Orpheus Network. Man, if that goes below $1, man, I might finally get into that. All right. Let's end it right there. Let's kick it to the last bit of comments, and then that will be the end of the show for real. All right. Boomerang Cinema might be a few drops of Vaseline on the couch. Oh my god. All right, let's see here. Daihe Freelance. Following your research isn't exactly doing one's own research, right? Jeez. Okay, I hear what you're saying. I mean, you got to keep in mind, I mean, if you're going to get super technical, okay. But welcome, nonetheless. Thank you for being here. It's just a name. It's just a title. It's like Crypto Talk now. Is it really Crypto Talk 24/7? Or we joke around sometimes? You know what I mean? Anyway. Solana, no outages, looking good, staking it. No outages. It's like internet. Is your internet out? Why is VeChain being used in China, but the price is total crap? I don't know, man. When it comes to VeChain, this is why I'm not trying to flood VeChain. I think obviously with Electronics Trade Documents Act going into effect, it might be good to have some VeChain. Obviously XTC, I already have XTC, Morpheus Network, right? But this is some of the criticism that VeChain gets, and don't think I'm oblivious to it. Daihe Freelance, sorry, man. Thanks for you're fine, man. No, you might be late. I don't know. I'm sorry. You're fine. Sometimes don't take it the wrong way. Sometimes you gotta keep in mind. Sometimes if I sound like I'm getting a little irritated, it might be just because I'm getting tired. It's towards the end of the day. So you're good. And we're glad to have you here. I really mean that. And if you want to point out technical things, okay. Man, I'm not gonna get all angry about it, get all butthurt about it, and basically, forget this. I'm gonna go and buy down a whole bunch of avocado juice with some castor oil, and go sit on bidet for 5 hours. Thinking about Caroline, and have a mud butt casserole or something like that, and then basically DM Brian Dowie while I'm on the thing. No, that wouldn't sound right? No, I'm not gonna do that. But nonetheless, no, I'm not gonna get all butthurt about that. It's fine. If you point out technical stuff, it's totally cool. But I'm glad that you enjoy the research and so on and the hard work. It is appreciated. So I guess technically speaking, I mean, you'd be right. I mean, what was the one you said earlier? Hold on. Following your research isn't exactly doing one's own research, right? Well, we do research together. So that's the point. Okay. Yeah, but you're good. F Saitama's couch. In a Dave Chappelle voice, right? F your couch. Buy another one, you rich mother. You know what I mean? I love that skit. That was hilarious. Brian Dowie says he likes Dyor with Max, and then he's got a weird happy face doing that. It kind of makes you wonder if Brian Dowie's actually doing that face right now. I like Dyor with Max. Yeah. Anyway. Hump.max, you can't say Solana without saying outage. Solana, no outages, new name. Bad. Attaboy, Max. My mud butt. You guys are horrible. Yo, Dolly, you good, broski? We are all a bunch of guys. We're a bunch of guys with chicks in their avatars. Oh, I'm sorry. I should call you. Dang it. I forgot. It's not chicks. It's daughters. I'm sorry. I apologize. I'm still getting used to this, Badir. All right. My bad. I like for Max to do more of his own research. Is that what you're trying to say? DMOR? You want me to do more of my own research? Do more own. I don't know what that. Maybe that's what you meant. All right. Wow, what a name. What is this? I O Nut Muntienu 19. Muntienu. All right, so that's not a joke. Okay. Whew. I almost thought you were gonna say like you're gonna, bust something. That would have been like, whoa. Brian Dowie might pay attention to that one. But welcome. And he says, go, 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 Jasmine. Thank you. Yeah, like go, 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 Gadget, whatever, right? Shout out to you guys who watched Inspector Gadget in the past. Keep your shoes off the casting couch. Do me own research. I like that, Max, to do me own research. Okay, I guess I get that. My God, we're getting all technical here. I thought it was do your own relaxing with Max. Oh my God, you guys would think that on your real. Try to read that. Boomer Officer, that's right. We have fun and let Max do the research. All right, show's over finally. Right, let's go. Have a great night, everybody. We'll be back here at roughly around 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. Hopefully, we'll be back with you guys tomorrow and don't get so many distractions, or occupied time and so on. So, yeah, we'll try to chop some of it up for you guys, hopefully, if I have time, but we'll go from there. It's been a great show. Thank you again. I am not your financial advisor. None of this is financial advice. Kat, you're very welcome, and you guys all have a great night. Peace out. Later. And here's the outro. Adios.
Singing this song, I see I was wrong. To chain you down, I was the clown. I'm singing this song, I see I was wrong. To chain you down, I was the clown. I know now when you're all alone. I've had the time to run out. I pray for the touch of your hand. Your love is so, so grand, oh baby.
XRP? Because Ripple's the chosen one to lead the new global digital payment system, and they use XRP. In 2013, the Federal Reserve began looking for faster payments options. 2 years later, an action plan was born and a federal payments task force was created. It included one company focused on crypto, Ripple. In 2014, the World Bank and Better Than Cash Alliance, which includes the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, Clinton Global Initiative, and the governments of 32 countries, put out a report called The Opportunities of Digitizing Payments. 1 year later, the Better Than Cash Alliance featured one crypto company on their website, Ripple. Today, Better Than Cash Alliance and all other UN initiatives are focused on a single agenda, the Sustainable Development Goals for 2030. You can see the SDGs logo on Bill Gates' lapel, world-leading companies, the Better Than Cash Alliance website, and on the UN's official exchange, Exchange. What crypto is Exchange officially utilizing for their carbon credit solution? XRP. The world will move to a new international standard for exchanging electronic messages between financial institutions by 2025 called ISO 20022. Who was the first ISO 20022 member focused on distributed ledger technology? Ripple. Who's partnered with over 300 financial institutions, including Bank of America, American Express, PNC, Santander, SBI, HSBC, Standard Chartered Bank, Bank of England, India, Singapore, Scotland, Australia, and Indonesia, the largest banks in Japan, Canada, Egypt, the Middle East, United Arab Emirates, Thailand, Morocco, Bhutan, South Korea, Brazil, and Latin America? Ripple. Who is a former employee overseeing the Federal Reserve? Ripple. A former employee overseeing the world's largest asset manager, BlackRock's digital asset division? Ripple. Leading Australia's CBDC effort? Ripple. Who hired a former Treasury of the United States? Ripple. 2 former Federal Reserve attorneys to their board? Ripple. 2 former Clinton and Obama advisors, former Minister of Defense and Economics of Germany, former business director at Swift, former Swift board member, former CFO of PayPal, former head of the DTCC, former chief business officer at Uber, former VP of Amazon, co-design and former SEC chair on their legal team, Ripple, who's a member of the Digital Pound Foundation, Digital Dollar Project, Digital Euro Association, Mojaloop, IMF's high-level advisory board on fintech, Hyperledger Blockchain Consortium, Open Payments Coalition, Faster Payments Council, Global Payments Steering Group, Cross-Border Working Group, International Association for Trusted Blockchain Applications, Crypto Climate Accord, University Blockchain Initiative, World Wide Web Consortium, and a featured partner of the World Economic Forum with 3 members of their team directly listed on the WF website, Ripple. Now, does Ripple and XRP sound like they're going to disappear, or do they sound like they're part of a much bigger plan? You decide.
Blockchain is spurring a revolution in the way we create, record, and trade value. Its benefits, security, transparency, efficiency, can be applied to areas as diverse as payments, capital markets, and supply chains. That's why assets of all kinds are being tokenized on blockchains, making their ownership immutable, their provenance traceable, and their use manageable. The potential is enormous, but every blockchain is complex and creates a different walled garden of connections and functionality. Today, the decentralized world of blockchain is made up of closed environments, limiting liquidity and leading to increased risk and lost opportunity. Every digital asset must be created specifically for each chain, demanding dedicated developer skills, which are hard to find, time-consuming to master, and expensive to develop. Overledger Platform from Quant establishes a new benchmark for blockchain interoperability and ease of use. As a low-code enterprise-grade platform, Overledger empowers you to deploy, connect, and develop on any blockchain quickly and simply. With Overledger, you can generate an interoperable digital asset with just a few clicks, create secure smart contracts that can execute on any blockchain without having to hire a team of experts. And you can use its advanced APIs to integrate with your systems and manage your assets on multiple chains. We believe that the blockchain economy should be simple, trusted, and future-proof. These are our principles and the genesis of Overledger Platform, the enterprise standard for building on blockchain.